Right, because the British government had me on detention yesterday. For what reason exactly, I don't know, but they say that the Chinese are fucking bad at it. But I mean, politicians are just as bad. I mean, how can you say the Chinese lock their people? You're a muppet. You're a liar as well. I'll let you come on my page, but I won't be horrible to you. But I'm see. I don't vote for MPs. I mean, I never would. I know that you're a bunch of useless pen pushers, bunch of snowflakes. That's what you are, lad. But what are you doing? You haven't fixed my fucking windows, all my doors. And that's enough said for now. All right, what we have to do, we have to keep an eye on the politicians, and if we ever catch them with their trousers down or taking drugs or anything like that, we'll have to come down heavy on them. We'll have to come down heavy on them. We'll have to get them nicked. We have to get MPs nicked. That's the only righteous way that I can see that. I mean, I have a plan anyway. I have a plan. I have a plan. And where will I be in 10 years' time? I mean, I've got a big plan, and I'm not bothered about money anymore. I'm really not bothered about money anymore. I hope I make enough money to pay back my investors, but I'm seriously not bothered about money anymore. Now I just want to conquer the world, and that is what I'm about. Conquering London first. When I conquered conquering London, it's not about conquering, it's not about violence. It's about winning hearts and minds. And if we can win the hearts and minds of all the subscribers and all the, I mean, I think we've done it. I think we're doing that anyway. I mean, why would someone subscribe unless you won their heart and mind anyway? So my game is to win hearts and minds, and when we've got a big enough team, we'll fuck the government over. I mean, they're just a bunch of tossers anyway. I mean, fuck them, man. Down Thomas complained that I bought his car at Tesco. Down Thomas complained to the police that I was. He made an allegation. There was no evidence. I'm like, okay. Who is it? Maybe before, if you've got my number, give me my number. I want to take this phone to the window. The other number, this number he won't be able to ring because this one doesn't accept calls except for in the I was just on the phone, but all I was saying was I really enjoyed this track. And Jimmy had never played keyboards before, I don't think. And he was just on the heroin buzz, and he played these keyboards, and they're pretty fucking good, really. He needs heroin to play music. It's strange, but if I take it, I just sit there. But when you become an addict, I suppose you can do anything on it. I wonder how Jimmy is now. I ain't seen him for years. I ain't seen him for about 10 years. Oh, we've got some messages up here. Good morning or good night, Johnny, depending on the time it is for you right now. It's the morning. How are you? I'm very good, thanks. What are you up to? Anything interesting or fun? Well, today I plan on getting outside because yesterday they had me locked up so long. Today I plan on getting outside for a bit if I can. Apart from that broadcasting, I should try and get these songs ready that came through on the email. Should try and get them ready, give them a listen to. I think it was, I can't remember the name of the guy that sent me a song, but East Love Willy Vision has sent me one as well. And I still haven't transferred it from the computer. So that's what I should do today, I presume. I hope. I've got Johnny Mankins on YouTube and on Discord. Sometimes I talk to no one, don't I? Because even if there's no one on there, I still talk because there are still viewers. I mean, I still do get viewers. But let's have a look at the viewers that we got yesterday. 162, that's not too bad. It was on for over 24 hours. Right, this is, do you enjoy fishing or anything, hunting squirrels or anything, gardening perhaps? I enjoy gardening loads, but I'm just so crap at it. I enjoy playing with the soil and looking at the beetles and stuff like that, and you know that on both. Make me an admin or mod, I'll update and revamp the Discord. You got like 50 Discord users in like 3 days. All right, well, I'm not really sure if I want to make anyone an admin yet because I'm just not sure about that. I'll wait until I see if I need one. At the moment, we don't need one. I mean, and I think Discord works all right at the moment. I don't think we need to change it at the moment. You only need admins when really what we're going to do, we're just going to deal with the people as they come in. I mean, we're just going to deal with them. That's what I'm doing. If someone talks shit, I just leave them to just chat shit, and that's it, really. I don't want to exclude anyone. I don't want to. And I'm worried that if you guys become admins, you might start excluding people, and then I can't do my job properly. And my job is to allow everyone in the room. It doesn't matter who they are. I mean, for making the channel and stuff. Enrichment, right. What do you like going in gardening? Well, I've tried an allotment plot, and twice I couldn't do it because you got to keep the grass down. You got no electric there, you got no mower, and you got to keep the grass down, and you got to weed it at the same time. I just found it fucking impossible. I couldn't weed all the weeds out and keep the grass down at the same time. So the council took the land back off me. They done that the first time. Second time I applied again. Again, I could not keep the grass down and weed it at the same time. I don't know how these guys do it. I think they're fucking geniuses. Jeff's got 3 plots. There's Jeff in the allotment up there. He's got 3 plots and a job. He's got a job and 3 plots. Now that is someone that I respect a lot. That is a very high ranker in the area. A very top ranker. He's humble. He just gets on with his life, and he's not really like a big boss in charge of government or anything, but he's definitely a top ranker in the area, and in the allotment, he's definitely the boss of the allotment. I mean, it's just the way he talks and stuff, and he did used to help me. He'd say you got to prune it this way and prune this that way, and he did help me, but I just couldn't keep up with the workload. And he'd be helping me out if I did what? Let's have a look. I'm just bored with the isolation, just looking for something to do. Okay, Johnny Manking. If you're bored of the isolation, is that what you're being isolated? Are you? Right. Well, what I would say is just watch this channel. Really, that's the only thing I can say. Really, that's. I mean, if you are isolated, you can. I put the news on a bit anyway. I think in a minute I'm going to put the news on anyway because I didn't see what the Prime Minister said yesterday, and I've got to catch up a bit. So I think in a minute I'm going to put the news on. We could watch a little bit of news. Victoria Derbyshire is not a bad show. We could listen to a bit of that. Are you on Discord? What to talk? Well, I don't know. You can ask me any questions you want, really. You can say whatever you want on Discord. Express yourself any way you want. It's only by expressing yourself the way that you want to express yourself. Like last night when I came in and I was fuming, I was expressing myself. Gareth Thomas did apologise, but I don't think he really knows what it's like to stay in a cell all day when you're waiting for an appropriate adult. And that's the problem. I always have to wait for an appropriate adult. So because I have to wait for an appropriate adult, I end up being in there for hours.
Things could go wrong under those circumstances. But in terms of this virus specifically, we're not aware of any adverse outcomes. So people, although they should take steps not to catch it because you're minimizing the risk, the overall risk is not going to be huge. So the risk from your husband bringing this home, yes, there is a theoretical risk. But if he gets symptoms and feels
Right, we'll just watch Victoria Derbyshire, I think. Right, I'm in the voice chat. Am I in the chat? I thought I was in the chat. Let's have a look. Oh, sorry, I haven't joined, have I? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in there now. I'm a bit backwards sometimes, sorry. I'm in there now. I've seen this woman before. Let's see what she's got to say.
Can lead to boredom, frustration, loneliness, even depression. So this is why keeping in touch with other people is really important. Structuring your day so you get up and you have a plan for the day, and you know what you're going to do when. It includes breaks, includes rest and relaxation. It includes physical activity. We know there's a link between physical activity and mood. good mood. So it's absolutely vital that when we're being cooped up, we find ways of keeping active, following YouTube videos or however one wants to do it. But all of those things will help. And doing things you enjoy, it might be baking, it might be taking up knitting or sewing, but things where you have some kind of control and mastery and enjoyment with.
Yeah, that point about control is key. Really, really briefly, Chris Smith, if you would, a lot of people are asking, when will we get back to normal?
Very, very difficult to say, but we're in this for the long haul. The problem is that while these acute measures we put in place to stop things happening right now will be effective in clamping down on the transmission, at the moment we don't have a simple exit strategy where if we take all these measures away, the virus is not going to come roaring back. That's why we need a vaccine, and that's why people are working on that very, very hard to try and realise that within the year.
Wasting all the money on a vaccine.
Months,
Wasting a load of money on a vaccine, yeah.
You know what, we're out of time, Dr. Gupta, but we'll get you back on, I promise. I absolutely promise. Thank you so much for your advice and your insight and your calm words, all of you. Dr. Gaurav Gupta, who is a GP, Susan Mickey, who's a professor of psychology, and Dr. Chris Smith, who is a consultant virologist. Really appreciate your time. Thank you. Thanks for all your questions. You can keep those coming in. Now, the strict measures laid down by the government are designed to prevent further infection and to ease the pressure on the NHS. Here is our health correspondent, Nick Triggle. Morning, Nick.
All across the UK, people are reducing their social contact with each other to suppress the spread of coronavirus. But behind the scenes, the health service is getting prepared for a surge in cases. So is it ready? The first thing to say is that most people will only get a mild illness with symptoms passing in a few days, but a minority end up severely ill. Just over 4% need hospital treatment. A third of those end up in intensive care, needing ventilation to support their failing lungs. To help with its planning, researchers have been looking at how long patients need hospital treatment for. Evidence from places such as China and Italy shows that on average people will spend 8 days in hospital. If they end up on a ventilator, that doubles to 16 days. Another challenge is that the number of cases can come quickly if the steps being taken do not manage to suppress the virus. As many as half can come in 2 or 3 weeks. So the NHS is trying to free up beds. In England, there are around 100,000 hospital beds. Currently, 9 in 10 are occupied. But NHS bosses are attempting to free up another 30,000 by cancelling routine ops and discharging patients quickly. This will also benefit intensive care units that will be crucial in saving lives. England has 3,700 critical care beds. Add in the rest of the UK and there are well over 4,000. 8 in 10 are occupied, but perhaps a quarter will be freed up if they're no longer needed for patients who've undergone surgery. You can open more by using the ventilators that would have been used in operating theatres, as well as sourcing others from old stocks, the Ministry of Defence and the private sector. But if you did that, you could possibly get close to 12,000 ventilated beds. Staff, though, would then have to be redeployed and retrained to help care for patients. Whatever happens, it promises to be a huge challenge for the health service.
Thank you very much, Nick. Thank you. Just to let you know that from BBC One, we're going to switch to BBC Two at 10 o'clock. We'll also be joined by viewers from BBC World News. So if you can come with us to BBC Two, then obviously you'll be very welcome. Welcome to get in touch as well, as always, Victoria at bbc.co.uk, and you can message me on Twitter at Vic Derbyshire. We're here to bring you the latest information, the latest advice, the latest guidance, the latest developments, but also to share your stories, because, I mean, really, this is something that affects every single one of us, isn't it? I cannot remember covering a story like this in my lifetime where everybody is impacted to a greater or lesser extent. Including Victoria, who's got in touch. Victoria says, I'm someone whose income has reduced by 85% in the last 7 days, and there is no prospect of getting it back to normal anytime soon. I'm oscillating between grief for the business I worked hard to build up and anger that this could ever happen. Do keep those coming in. As I said, our email address is victoria@bbc.co.uk. We're coming up to 10 o'clock now, and it is time for a look at all the weather. Here's Carol.
Hello again. The weather today is very similar to the weather that you had yesterday. Not much has changed. We still have a weather front in the south, and that's producing a lot of cloud, some patchy rain and drizzle, whereas in the north, well, we've got some sunny spells and just a few showers. What's happening is we've got a weather front draped across southern areas. It's been with us all week. It's producing this cloud and also the patchy rain and drizzle. But under clearer skies further north, it was a cold start to the day, but we have seen quite a bit of sunshine. And still through the afternoon, that will continue with just a few showers, some of them wintry on the hills in Scotland. So we continue with all this cloud in the south and also the patchy rain or drizzle. Temperatures here, disappointing. In Cardiff, for example, it's only 6 degrees this afternoon, whereas it should be around about 11 at this stage in March. Generally, we're looking at 6 to about 12. Now, through this evening and overnight, we still do have a weather front in the south, still fairly weak, still producing some rain, the wind picking up across the English Channel. Here we'll see a few showers. But north of that, under clear skies, it's going to be cold with a widespread hard frost. In northeast Scotland, temperatures could fall as low as
I always do money on a vaccine, really,
6,
because
but it does mean under
the
those
truth
clear
known,
skies,
we can all
we'll
catch
see
this
some
fucking
sunshine
illness anyway.
in many areas first
If we
thing in
all
the
catch
morning.
it, then we have got
But still a lot of clouds,
herd
some
immunity,
patchy
as they
light
call
rain
it.
across some southern
I
areas,
mean,
some showers coming
I
in
might
from
die
various
from it,
Channel
but
Islands, and
that's what they're
windy
saying.
here
That some
as
people
well.
might die from it. I've got a
Temperatures
bad
ranging from
respiratory
6
system,
to
so I
about
might
10
die
degrees,
from it.
and with
But
the onshore flow
if I die, I
along
die,
the
and
east
so
coast,
fucking
we can
what? I
also
mean,
see one or
that's
two showers
nature,
in
and that's
here
how
in
nature
interior.
works. And
Now, as we head through Friday into the weekend,
every
we
time
still
they try
have
and
this
prolong
weather
life,
front
or
out
try and do
towards
this,
the
or try and
west,
do that,
but high pressure will really
something
have
comes
an
along
influence on
and
our
wipes
weather.
us out.
High
And
pressure normally means
what was
settled,
the thing that was
and
going to
that's
wipe
how
us
will be
out
the case for most of us.
before? There
So
was
on Saturday,
something,
after a
and
cold start, we are looking at a lot
they
of
prevented
sunshine
that,
around.
and
It's going to be quite a breezy day. Out towards the west,
we
there's a
still end
weather
up with
front
an
not
illness.
far
I mean,
away. That's trying to make inroads into Northern Ireland, but we don't think it will at the moment, other than producing a bit more cloud. And because it's breezy, it will feel a wee bit cooler than these temperatures suggest. And even into Sunday, similar story in that there'll be a lot of dry weather around after a chilly start, a fair bit of sunshine, and we've got this southerly breeze. But a weather front trying to come in from the west will produce a bit more cloud in western areas, and also some patchy rain with highs of 12.
As the coronavirus story develops, BBC News
that will
has
mean that
global coverage.
hundreds of thousands will die, and the NHS can't cope. Yeah, well, I don't agree with the NHS anyway. I believe that if we get unwell, we should die. I mean, that's the way I see it. That's why I don't go in the NHS. Like, people say you should go in and check your cough out. I'm not going to go in there. I'll just smoke. I'll stay at home until I die. I mean, I hope I just walk home from the shops one day and die like Siobhan did or something like that. But I feel death getting closer and closer, and I'm not bothered by it. I mean, I'm not bothered. I mean, I probably would be one of the ones that die, and I'm not bothered. I mean, there's so many people that will recover. About 80 or 90% of the people would recover. It's only really the old buggers and people with bad respiratory that will die. And it is strong survival of the fittest. That's the way life is.
Good morning. It's 10 o'clock this Thursday morning. You're with BBC News, and welcome to viewers from BBC World.
I don't agree with the NHS institution prolonging life for old people. Like, when someone gets a stroke, we just leave them to fucking die. I mean, why spend so much fucking money on prolonging life and take it out of taxpayers' money, so much of it? I mean, to make someone live 5 years of shitty quality life. I mean, I see my granddad, he had strokes and this, that, the other. He's had so many operations and his quality of life is shit. I mean, what's the fucking point? I mean,
the European Central Bank launches a multi-billion-dollar emergency scheme.
Can I speak on the topic of death? Well, to me, death is something that is certain. Death is certain.
Will be issued tomorrow on how children will be awarded their grades following the cancellation of GCSE. And
yeah, I know the NHS looks after old people, but what? I just think that if we catch cancer or something like that, we should not have treatment. I mean, treatment weakens you and kills you most of the time anyway. I mean, what was the topic of death? I mean, well, death is certain. I don't know what more I can say about death. I mean, if we're attached to someone, we get heartbroken when they die, and the trick is not to be attached to anyone, and then you're all right, man.
To cancel or postpone this summer's Olympics due to take place in Tokyo.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's what I mean. I mean, to me, death is perfectly natural. It's perfectly normal, and I embrace death. I'm not bothered. I mean, if I die now, it really does not bother me. I mean, I don't want to live to. I don't really want to be an old man that can't walk properly. Or I don't want a low quality of life. I mean, I don't want to survive a stroke and then have a shitty life afterwards. It's just not right. I mean, if someone becomes unwell or not well, then they should just suffer the consequences. I don't believe in the NHS, and paying all that money into NHS is ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. What sort of king would do that? No king would do that ever. NHS. I mean, and the Labour government reckon it's their pride and joy and all that, but
there are signs of stabilisation after the European Central Bank announced a huge emergency package.
If they wanted to vote, if they want to scrap the NHS, I would vote for that. Yeah, I would. I would, because the NHS is a shitty, nasty institution, just like a police station. They're exactly the same. Police station and NHS, exactly the same. I can't stand either of them, really.
Schools and universities are calling on ministers.
They're not good for you, right? The NHS does not really do any proper treatment. They are savages with what they do.
GCSEs and
Chinese I don't mind homeopathy, like using herbs and stuff, but not what the NHS do. I mean, if you want to save someone's life, I believe in homeopathy, which is using herbs.
Essential journeys in the capital after the death toll.
Would I get rid of the police too? I'd like to. I would like to. Yeah, I would like to. Not yet, though. I couldn't do that straight away because the drunks on a Friday night. We do need police at the moment, but NHS we don't need it. We just don't need it. I mean, it's just a waste of fucking time.
Remain closed.
I mean, what they're trying to do here is now we've ruined the whole economy just to save old buggers that were going to die anyway. I mean, what's the fucking point in that?
And pupils considered vulnerable will be allowed to go in. The decision to shut schools.
No, homeopathy does work because when I got my cough, if I take cinnamon and eucalyptus tea, that works. But the NHS have no remedy whatsoever for a cold or a cough. I mean, for a cough or a cold, yeah, they have no remedy whatsoever. But by taking eucalyptus leaves, that is something which can relieve symptoms and help you get better. And that is something that really does work. So that's what I just proved to you. I haven't proved it to you, but you try it. I mean, get some eucalyptus, try it out. And next time you've got a cough or a cold, drink eucalyptus tea and see how you feel. You should only drink about 3 cups a day, and I can teach you how to do it if you want. But
and it always feels wasted.
Call it delusional if you want. I don't mind. I know what I'm saying. I know for a fact that there is no Babylon, that the NHS has got no cure for a cough whatsoever. And I know that if you drink eucalyptus tea, you can cure your cough. I know that as a fact. I know that as a fact myself. I can't prove it to you over the internet. Just try it. I mean, if you ever get a cough, get eucalyptus and try it.
As and when they'd be expecting them in the summer.
All right, cheers, Echo.
Details tomorrow.
It's not just schools being shut. Services on the London Underground are being reduced. Up to 40 stations will be closed. The mayor says the tube should only be used for essential journeys to free up the network.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm not watching Discord, so I can't see the messages on Discord. I'm just watching the news at the moment. I want to watch the Victoria Derbyshire show. I think it started already.
Seem to be qualified nurses and paramedics. There will be legislation too to protect renters from eviction.
I think now it's just time to repeat. I think that's all they're doing now.
Today, a new TV advert will offer health advice. But the warning is there may be more restrictions on daily life to come.
This is going to be a long haul. We described it as a marathon, not a sprint. And we do have to be able to do things over many weeks to months. if we are going to actually seriously get on top of this epidemic that is heading our way.
I mean, it doesn't even matter if the humans become extinct. Do you think it really matters? Wouldn't it be better to let the foxes and let the dogs and all the other animals just run around the planet and do what they want? And wouldn't that be better? I mean, humans, are they really worthy to exist on this planet? I mean, I don't think they are. I'm not bothered if humans become extinct at all. I'm not bothered. It does not bother me one little bit in the slightest. Doesn't bother my dad neither. My dad doesn't give a shit.
For the first time since the outbreak began in the Wuhan province, it recorded no new
The humans think they're so sophisticated because they can talk and they got hands, but they cause so much mayhem on the planet that we don't give a shit if we extinct ourselves or not. I mean, me and my dad don't care. I mean, if they blow us up or whatever, however we die off, we don't give a flying shit. We'd be happy for it to happen, really.
In the last 24 hours. But that is a huge drop on the figures from the peak of the infection.
Call it world suicidal or whatever you want to call it, but that's just the way we see it. I mean, we don't see that humans do anything positive, really, to the environment. I mean, they don't.
Well, our correspondent Stephen McDonald is out and about in Beijing. He says it's a highly symbolic day in China.
The first time we've had 0 homegrown infections in all of China since this emergency began. And as if to sort of really nail this home, people in Wuhan, the city where this crisis began, have finally been allowed to go outdoors. So you've been cooped up in your house for 6 weeks, like a month and a half.
That's interesting news.
To be able to go with your family, to go outside and have a bit of a stroll, breathe some fresh air in. They're not allowed to go that far from their homes, and it's a staggered approach. So they're sort of releasing people in building by building, sort of level by level. However, big change to being cooped up, sitting around in front of the television.
The Chinese are very happy they've just been allowed out. So that seems quite quick. I thought they should be locked up longer than that. How long has this been going on? I thought we had to be locked up for 3 months. I mean,
most of those are in Beijing, in fact, and a lot of these are Chinese people returning home from North America and Europe, believing that this is now.
If humans become extinct, life will still go on. The fox, the wolf, the bear, the lion, all these other animals will still be there. The hyena. I mean, these animals could grow more.
They don't want them flooding back because everything's kind of under control now. And imagine cases of people with coronavirus symptoms who boarded planes.
I don't know what you mean. Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know what you mean by that. Thanks to medical science. I mean, that's what I mean. All life on Earth will eventually die, mate. Yeah, I know exactly. So that's why I say to you that the humans might extinct themselves, and I don't give a shit if they do or not. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I'm really not bothered. I mean, the way I see it is that if we become extinct, something will come along. I mean, or there's plenty of other life forms. There's life in the sea, and
in the UK,
life will still go on. I mean,
and also people in Britain stockpiling food.
To 5.2 billion between 2021 and 27. And of course, they will be working with all areas who've got floods, concerns and considerations to learn lessons from what happened this time, use the current grant system that we've got, but the Secretary of State and
I agree that all life on Earth, well, according to scientists, will eventually die. Catholics say world without end, but the Catholics are a bunch of liars, and it could be world without end. I don't know. I mean, we don't know why the sun keeps burning like that. It's a bit weird, but when are you running for Parliament? I'm never running for Parliament. I'm going to subject Parliament. I'm going to bring them into subjection. That's what it mentions, subjugate. I'm going to subjugate Parliament. My plan is to win the hearts and minds of everyone on YouTube and Discord, get as many subscribers as possible.
So that's Dominic Raad.
And then once I got all my subscribers and we're all together, then
from the Foreign Affairs,
we turn around and I don't vote anyway. And I can't control you guys, but I'd say to everyone, let's stop voting. And if ever we can, in 10 years' time, if everyone's on my page and
what's happening.
it becomes popular and people think Johnny Rankin this, Johnny Rankin that, or whatever,
475
then
deaths from
we'll just take over. It'll be a revolution.
Now, that is the biggest.
That's what a revolution is: subversion of existing governing authority, replacement with a new one. Now, I don't think the MPs are doing a good job. I just don't. Not after what Gareth Thomas done yesterday, and seeing his attitude to me being on Discord, and he's going, what are you doing, John? They're just taking the piss out of you. Well, if Gareth Thomas can't handle a little joke or can't take a little piss take, he's not right for the job, is he?
Where most of the fatalities are doctors really being pushed.
I don't know what you mean by doubt that will work out for you. What will work out?
It gets better today. Some medics
well,
have arrived.
There's no harm in trying, official Ash. I think I know what you mean now.
Kit, ventilators, and face masks.
You'd be surprised what I can do. You ask the Rastafarians what Johnny Ringo is capable of. I know this. All you shall witness, Babylon shall fall. You will watch Babylon fall in front of your eyes. In front of your eyes, I will make Babylon fall. In front of your eyes, I will do it. I will do it. You watch me. You watch me. One day they'll come begging to me for advice. They haven't done it yet, but one day, maybe during this coronavirus epidemic, they'll come begging for a solution. And I'm going to turn around live on air and I'm going to say, who runs this fucking country then? Me or you? Me or you? Let's see if they come asking for advice. What's Babylon? Babylon is the Roman Empire. It's like anywhere where there's a Catholic church, that's Babylon. That's how you know it's the Roman Empire. Who will come begging? The MPs. The MPs will. When the MPs get in a shit, they will come begging for advice. I am a great idea creator and a great leader when it comes to world affairs, and they will come begging. I mean, I swear they will. You wait and you'll see. And if they don't come begging, it's going to fuck up the country. And if they fuck up the country, well, we're going to have to get together, aren't we? We're going to have to do something about it. And the MPs, what can they do if they can't even relate to their own constituents? They can't even relate to their constituents. And Gareth Thomas can't relate to me, obviously. Well, that's fucked up then. What's the Roman Empire Catholic Church got to do with the PM? Well, the Roman Catholic Church is the authority figure over the Queen. The Pope has got authority over the Queen, and the Pope has authority over all countries with the Catholic Church in it. At Buckingham Palace, the Queen has to go and visit the Pope, and that's why you'll see that the Queen is in subjection to the Pope. Yeah, that's what I was taught by Rastafarians anyway. The Queen has no power in this country. Well, she sort of doesn't and does, because I don't know, I mean, she can still talk, and he says she's got no power, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't really comment on that because I don't see what goes on behind closed doors. So I don't know if she does have any power or not. I know she does her speech and she says that what her government's going to do that year and stuff. And I don't know if she's got power or not. I'm not sure. I know she has to authorise everything Parliament does and sign it off. And she just does that. She just signs everything, which I think is wrong. If I was a king or queen, I would not just sign everything Parliament does. But this is why they don't want Prince Charles, because they say Prince Charles might not start just sign things. But give me stupid cow something to do.
With shouts that the president must go. Mr. Bolsonaro had dismissed the coronavirus pandemic as a fantasy. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has given an unprecedented televised address regarding the virus. She said the pandemic is the country's greatest challenge since the Second World War, and the number of loved ones lost will depend on how strictly people follow the rules. The Australian government has announced a total travel ban on anyone entering the country unless they are a citizen or resident. Prime Minister Morrison said the majority of COVID-19 cases in the country
is my Parliament
overthrow.
The royal family years ago.
New Zealand
the
has
royals
also
have
closed
no power.
its borders
I
to
know.
all foreigners. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern.
I think
said
you might be
that
right,
citizens
but
and
I
permanent
think the
residents
royals
can
do have
still
some form of
return,
power though, because
but their options
they
are
have to
running out
authorise
as airlines
everything that
cancel
goes through
flights.
Parliament.
The ban
So
comes into force from midnight.
I mean, they have to sign it off and say this is okay. And I mean, the Queen just signs everything, but
BBC News, China has
I don't know,
expressed
man.
relief as
She's got
it
the House of
reports
Lords to
no
scrutinise
new
things
domestic
for her,
cases
but
of the
I do
coronavirus
think she
for
should
the
leave the
first
House of
time
Lords
since
with
the
her people
pandemic
in there to
began
scrutinise
in
it for
Wuhan
her.
last year.
I mean, that's her chamber,
Italy,
really.
the
And
worst affected country in Europe, is
they
set to
scrutinise
extend
things on her
lockdown
behalf,
measures
really.
after the highest number of daily deaths recorded in any country,
But
including
she doesn't sign
China.
everything, does she not? I thought she did. I
The
thought she just
European
signed
Central
everything.
Bank launches a multi-billion
It's
dollar
just more
emergency scheme to
symbolic.
ease
Sorry.
the impact
Yeah, maybe.
of the worsening pandemic. The former Labour British Prime Minister Gordon Brown has called on the government to act quickly to protect people's income. Mr. Brown said the UK was facing a second wave of big redundancies after initial job losses in the hospitality and travel
Universal
industries.
credits. It's enough. You give it
Speaking
to us.
on BBC Radio
It's enough
4
for
this
them.
morning, he also called for more coordinated action internationally.
But Gordon Brown's keep shut because he was a shit Prime Minister. He's keep his mouth shut.
And not simply national.
Why is Gordon Brown opening his mouth now? Fuck off, Gordon Brown. You're a hamster penis, man.
This populist nationalism. We're finding that we're connected whether we like it or not. We're finding that we depend on each other whether we like it or not. And I think people have got to put aside the differences they have, and international cooperation is absolutely vital to this. It's absolutely vital to finding a vaccine and then manufacturing it quickly. It's absolutely vital, obviously, to keep the economy moving. And if you don't have confidence that people are in control, that people know what they're doing and are getting on with it, then all the other consequences that we've seen will follow.
New measures to control the spread of the virus were announced in the UK yesterday, including closing schools from tomorrow. Will they be enough to slow down the spread of the disease? And what's happening in the UK compared to other countries tackling the virus? Let's talk now to Adam Kucharski, who's an epidemiologist and author of The Rules of Contagion, which is about how viruses spread, and Sir Chris Evans, who's a microbiologist.
Hey, how are you,
He thinks
guys?
we will have medical
Went away for a bit. We'll go to bed in a bit. What are you all up to? How are you preparing Corona? Well, I'm not doing anything different to what I usually do. I'm doing exactly the same, but because we're S88, I think you need the just to look at the cough, mate. No way. Love out loud. Good man.
And yeah, we've known really since the start of February that these
If I go to the NHS, they'll chop my lungs open. There's no fucking way I'm going under the knife. I refuse to go under the knife. Refuse. Rastafarians don't go to GPs or hospitals. We just do not. Rastafarians don't do that. We get herbs. We get books out and we read about herbs and we cure ourselves with herbs. That's how we do it. I've got a Rastafarian doctor up the road that I can go and see and get a remedy for anything wrong with my body. My Rastafarian doctor will make me a herbal tea that I have to drink 3 times a day, or he'll tell me what exercise or whatever the illness is. He can research it. He's got all the books. I gave him a book as well to help him, and that's how we do it. We do it with natural remedies. We don't do it the savage, barbaric way that the NHS does. The NHS do not really know what they're doing. They are practicing. They are what you call practicing. Now, my Rastafarian boss is not practicing. He knows what he's doing. Adrian, do you know what they call alternative medicine that works? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about exactly. It's called alternative. You can call it alternative medicine if you want, but I mean, we use the same sort of medicine as what the Chinese use. I mean, anyone can get a herb book and look into it. I mean, maybe there are some things that the hospital has to do, but most illnesses can be just solved by a simple herbal remedy. I mean, or by exercise. It'll say you should be doing. If you've got a high or low blood pressure, you should do some exercise. And if you go to the GP, they give you a tablet. But in the herb book, it says do some exercise and don't eat this and don't drink that. And it's about what you eat and drink as well. I mean, it's called alternative because it's not proven to work. Well, it did work. It actually did work for many years. The NHS is a new institution. I mean, we've been using herbal remedies for years, and it says it's not proven to work. But from my experience of when I've done it, it has worked. I mean, There's no disputing that. I mean, the eucalyptus tea. I mean, that's what I've used, and that did work. I mean,
18 months before there is a vaccine.
I think that what you called alternative therapy is a better therapy. I mean, I think it works better. What Babylon do, they just kill all the antibodies off, and they don't know what they're doing. Just trust me. The NHS do not know what they're doing. They're a bunch of savage barbarians that are practicing. Freud doesn't know what he's doing. The mental health system that has no cure whatsoever. Why have they taken meal deals away? Thanks, Johnny. I don't know about that. I'm sorry. So why has nobody who has made alternative medicine won a Nobel
so that's
Peace
a
Prize?
vaccine.
Because people like me and Rastafari, we don't put ourselves forward for Nobel Peace Prizes. I mean, we just do it. I mean, if you're into alternative therapy, why would you get a Nobel Peace Prize? I mean, why? I mean, it's just something that we've been doing. The Chinese still do it, and the Chinese have been treating coronavirus with herbs. I mean, that's what they've been doing. They haven't been using the technology that they use in the West. Been to Tesco, Johnny. All right.
In all sorts of countries around the world, they're using existing drugs, combinations of drugs, anti-malaria, antiviral, a whole range of compounds. And some of the data that I've seen is superb. It's absolutely excellent. Some of the animal data and some of the human data that's come out of China. The Chinese have got ahead of the game, of course, and have run some very, very good trials using some of these compounds. So you've got a whole diversity of compounds.
I don't actually think I'll make it 10 years. I think I'm going to die before 10 years is up. Starting to feel very old, and I think it's all the drugs that I've taken. It's aged my body. I think that's what it does. It ages your body on the inside. I might look young on the outside, but on the inside, I'm very old. And let's see what it says. Yeah, they use that many of that they don't always spread viruses a lot.
Orally, or an injection, or an infusion, or are inhaled into the lungs. But what they can do, particularly with the elderly, the people who are most exposed here,
the NHS says not to take them drugs. Oh, right. Well, that's the NHS for you, isn't it? Well, the NHS is actually institutions to kill you off and give you a bad quality of life. That's what it is. The NHS is not there to support you or help you or cure illness or anything like that. The NHS, trust me, is a savage, barbarian, backward.
I really hope you're right.
The way that they chop people and stuff is just fucking savage. I mean, if someone is going to die, leave them to die, and that is more humane. That is more. That is
since the outbreak
far more. Why waste money on trying to prolong someone's life? Why? If they're going to die, they're going to die. I mean, you spend say you spend £1,000 on them in a. You're going to spend more than that anyway. In surgery, it's going to cost about £5,000 or something to pay the surgeons and all the staff. What's the fucking point? That person's going to die 5 years later, within 5 years anyway. I mean, what's the fucking point?
China, so these lockdowns that are going in, the hope is that we can reproduce the kind of Chinese approach here in reducing transmission. But then it's really what happens next. Is it a matter of getting more effective treatment so we can free up capacity? Can we have these lighter?
I just see my granddad. That's all I can go by. And he said that he wished that when he had his first stroke, he died. That's what he told me.
Sorry, go on.
He said that my quality of life now is so shit. I wish I died when I had my first stroke, and that was his own words. That's his own words, and I'll never forget that. And I agree with him. I look at him and I think, I wish he'd have died then as well. I mean, I would not want to live like how he does. Yeah, he hasn't even got a penis anymore. Now he pisses into a bag up here, and I have to empty it every day. A nurse has to come and empty his piss out every day. What sort of quality of life is that? And it's intrusion. I mean, the NHS are intruding. Why'd they cut his penis off? If you can't use your penis anymore, you should fucking die. I mean, why have a bag and a nurse got to empty it every day? How much money does it cost to keep my granddad alive? How much money does it cost? Just think about it. It's a waste of fucking taxpayers' money.
They were able to treat and cure people and make them better and get them out of the hospitals pretty quickly, and so reduce the burden on their hospital system.
Giving birth is a different story. I mean, giving birth is slightly different. Giving birth is different. It's not. That's not to do with the NHS. I mean, we've been giving birth long before the NHS ever existed. And giving birth, well, that's a different story. I mean, you should help women giving birth with what you can. We should do it in humane ways. And there is a way of having a painless birth. Rastafarians do it all the time. A Rastafarian woman does not have pain when she gives birth.
There are a number of
I mean,
health workers in Britain
there's ways of doing these things.
Before
I
you
mean,
get access to
I'm a
testing,
supporter
you
of
find out
supporting
really
birth
symptoms
because
really work.
we've always given,
And if
you know,
it
birth
works,
is something
you
we've
go
had to
straight
do.
back into
Birth
work
and death,
rather
they're
than
certain,
having to
you know. I mean,
self-isolate for either
so
7
if
days
you had
if
a,
they live alone, or 14 days if they live with other members of the family.
what tax do you pay, Johnny? I only pay VAT really, and that's it. I just pay VAT. I don't pay council tax. I don't pay income tax.
Quickly enough in Britain.
I don't pay national insurance. I just pay VAT, and that's it.
I do like everything.
But when I used to work, I did used to pay all those things like national insurance and income tax and all that.
Boris, the chief scientist, to say, fantastic. I wish we'd started a little bit earlier and isolated our risk.
I'm just going to make a cup of tea.
Elderly population, but you know, we didn't, but now we are doing our best on that front. But in terms of testing, I mean, there are antibody tests, there are mRNA tests. You know, there are genomic tests, there's the PCR laboratory tests, there are simple tests for home use. And, you know, I hear people on the TV whinging about celebrities using some of the private testing. Well, I just think this is utter rubbish. If those companies do exist, by the way, there are private companies who are selling these tests, but the British government should buy up all the tests. Just buy them all up so celebrities can't buy anything. Buy them up and give them to the frontline workers in the NHS today, this afternoon. Get on with it.
Adam Kucharski, I wonder how you reflect, with your expertise, how you reflect on the situation that the world finds itself in right now because of this virus.
I think one of the big concerns is really thinking of the global picture of where we're going for the next year or two. So we have these countries, especially Singapore, Korea, that put these really intensive testing isolation measures in place, but Korea, you know, more important cases coming in. So although this measure has been remarkable in their effectiveness over the course of about 6 weeks, it does become harder for these countries as you have more widespread infection around the world continuing to introduce. I mean, we estimated in kind of early transmission settings without control, you know, after about 4 or so independent introductions, you're likely to get sustained transmission. So it really doesn't take that much for infection to re-establish once control measures are lifted. So as you've heard, I think we really have to be thinking about these measures, not just locally, but the kind of combination of things that isn't just going to potentially control infection.
I don't know why Gareth Thomas has blocked me on the email. I don't know what the fuck he's doing, because if he doesn't realise what I do and what I've contributed to this world, how can I'm going to have to get Boris Johnson's email now, because or do I have to? No, maybe I don't need to. Maybe I'll wait until they come onto my page and then I'll tell them then, because then everyone can see in plain daylight MPs needing help.
Should the British government do? I mean, the Prime Minister said yesterday, we will certainly wish to
I don't really want the government to do the wrong thing, but I can always private message Gareth Thomas anyway. I mean,
should they do?
And I think one thing that's already been proposed is this real protection of this group, particularly older groups. These are not exclusively, but they are ones that are going to get hit harder if they get ill with this. You know, more likely to end up in ICU.
So what are you suggesting?
So I think the measures we've heard being proposed of kind of ensuring that those people are protected. This isn't just a matter of these simple top-down measures, things like school closures. It's on all of us to change our behaviour. That even if mass events are being cancelled, schools are being closed, we have to take some personal responsibility here. And if we're ill, self-isolate, really think about our interactions, because if we go on to infect someone and they infect someone, one of these people in the chain could end up very seriously ill. So I think it's important the government is considering everything, but I think we also really have to take this seriously as individuals and how our behaviour is potentially putting other people at risk.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think that the government may need to go further with whether it's the police or the soldiers, and to break up any visible signs of groups of people gathering, whether they're all gathering outside some kind of makeshift bar or a pub, or there's a large group going from A to B. I think people have got to start being sensible about splitting apart. I mean, I'm trying to do the same myself with my family, trying to keep everybody at a bit of a distance and do our bit not to become a burden. Everyone needs to do this isolation. Everybody.
And I think just to add to that briefly, we don't want a situation where everyone is shut in their house for months. And so, if we have people who are sensible and really follow the advice as it's going, we could reduce transmission dramatically and enable there to be more element of freedom still possible. But if people ignore that, then that leaves very few options.
Thank you both. Thanks for your time. It's Chris Evans and Adam Kucharski. Right, let's go to the House of Commons, where
Professor Johnny Banking
talking
said
about how to support employees.
As the Chancellor announced, we will go much further to support people's financial security, working with trade unions and business groups.
What about my financial security, you motherfucker?
At the Treasury Select Committee yesterday afternoon, the Chancellor spoke to the trade unions, and he will today be meeting with the TUC, the CBI, the BCC and the FSB. This will be with a view to urgently developing new forms of employment support to help protect people's jobs and incomes through this period. Mr. Speaker, I am sure that you will appreciate these are unprecedented times. The Chancellor has said he will look at further steps to help protect jobs and incomes, and he will announce further details in due course.
Greg Clark. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Speaker. For much of yesterday, like many members of the House, including the member for Birmingham Erdington, with whom I've been working, I was speaking to businesses in our constituencies who are facing a crisis. With revenue collapsing and no knowledge of when normal trading can resume, they see no choice but to lay off workers now. The loan scheme that the Chancellor announced on Tuesday is not enough to prevent that. These businesses have no idea when they will be able to pay back the debts that they would incur. It provides no reason to keep staff employed. In fact, the reverse, because the smaller the wage bill, the less would have to be borrowed. On Tuesday, the Chancellor promised that there would be employment support, but as each day goes by, businesses are making decisions that will be irreversible. If the government does not act immediately, large numbers of people will be unemployed. Registering them will put huge pressure on the welfare system. Vital skills will be lost, and good businesses will cease trading, who themselves will be the customers and suppliers.
Tough shit. Suffer, motherfuckers. We're a country. We're going to have to suffer together. You MPs are a bunch of dickheads that try and... What are you trying to do? Put them on a universal credits. That's it, man. Just let them go on universal credits. I'm on it. I survive.
That
Fuck
flow
them.
should now be reversed, with the nation paying the wages of people for the next few weeks, if and only if they continue to employ their staff.
Right, weed is not legal in the UK, Prof. Johnny Banking. It's not legal now, but for me, they tend to let me get away with it, I think, because yesterday the police came in here and they didn't even look for my weed and they didn't even see it on the side or nothing. So I don't think they even could see what was in the room, really, because I got to try and find a padlock and they couldn't find it. So they actually walked me back into the room, which is not against procedure, really. And I showed them where the padlock was, and they didn't see the box on the side. So it is just a box on the side anyway, and they didn't notice it. And they weren't my coppers. They weren't from South Harrow. They were from Wembley. So the Wembley coppers might not have known my history, or they do know it. I don't know. I mean, coppers are actually all right with me, really. They treat me quite well, really. And that's why it might be a police state one day. And if the government really fuck up, and
the specific anxieties of businesses.
I talk to the police a lot. I mean, well,
I've got no choice. I live in the most dangerous part of South Harrow. There's police here regularly, and all the coppers that come down here, they all know me. And
the small business grant facility.
it wouldn't be hard to set up a police state one day, mate. I'm sure I could do it. If I have to, I'll control the police, and me and the police will run this country. We don't need the government. The government are a waste of time. They don't do fuck all. Look at them talking now, wasting time.
Announces the measures that we wish to take to assist with supporting employees, that they need to be effective and work. So I want to say to the House and to my right honourable friend that be under no doubt that all options are being examined. We are looking at models that exist in other jurisdictions. And when very imminently the Chancellor comes to the House, we want to be sure that what we announce will be effective.
Peter Dowd. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's now 6.5 weeks since the first cases of coronavirus were reported in the UK. For over a month, we have known about the substantial risk that coronavirus poses to the economy and to workers, and yet the government has announced no plan to protect jobs and wages, no full plan for employment support. We are all of us, inundated with so many questions, and I have just 4 of those questions to ask. People are asking us why. For example, Denmark had its first coronavirus case on the 27th of February, and New Zealand its first case on the 28th of February, 4 weeks after our first case. So why have Denmark and New Zealand announced comprehensive job protection plans, though they had their first cases 4 weeks after us, while we have announced nothing to secure people's jobs and wages?
Because we don't have the money, dickhead. We are in a shit. That's why we are in the shit. People are going to have to go on to universal credits. We're going to have to suffer. It's like wartime, and we are going, and that's what you caused with your policy. Instead of allowing us to carry on as normal and catch a fucking disease, why couldn't we just carry on as normal, catch the disease? It's your policy, and you can't put light in the pockets of every single business. Why should Mark McIntyre and General Levy and all these guys get a big fucking load of money from you? I mean, why should they? I mean,
need additional support.
They've got to go on universal credits if they ain't got any savings, and that's it. If you've got savings, then that use your savings. And that's the way it is. So grow up and just.
So the country
is going to have to suffer. The country is going to have to suffer, motherfucker. So fuck you. They will anyway. All your hot air is going to achieve nothing. Boris Johnson's going to leave it at universal credit, and he's right.
And matches the scale of the crisis affecting us
here. Right. It's a Class C drug. You can have up to 4 plants until they claim that you're supplying. Oh, right. Okay, if right.
For the honourable gentleman to raise those points.
I didn't realise that you can have 4 plants. All right. That's enough, that is. That can keep you going, that can. I think it's Johnny that has hot air here. Yeah, I do have hot air because I get pissed off with these politicians asking the same questions again and again and again. They're a bunch of thick motherfuckers, man. Just listen to these MPs talk. Listen to him. What prick. And he really gets on with his constituents. This guy can really relate to his constituents. I doubt it very much.
As much pressure as possible on the NHS.
And that's what I realised with Gareth Thomas. He does not relate to his constituents. He doesn't help them. What is this guy doing in Parliament now? Are you going to help your constituents?
We can in different domains. He asks about the Danish experience, and we are looking at the furlough system. We are looking at the proportion of support that's available, as we're also looking at the German system, which in the last significant recession that happened in 09-10, which is broadly the comparator that we could use, only 3% of German firms were helped. We're aware of what's happening in the US, and we are aware of the proposals that have been put forward by various think tanks this morning. We are looking thoroughly at all these options, but it is very important that we have
in the wise
a
words
system that delivers
Arnold
the
Schwarzenegger,
support
relax.
that's required to employers. On the loans,
I do get hot air over these MPs because these MPs just piss me off so much.
We have extended
I mean,
that
I used to think they were all right until
5
Gareth Thomas yesterday, and now I just see them as a bunch of dweebs.
no
They're
interest
just a bunch of
payable in
dweebs.
the
With,
first 6
I
months.
mean,
No
someone
fees.
did tell me years ago that
Obviously, we
politics is
expect
just showbiz for ugly people, and that's all it is.
to support their
What the fuck are they achieving in here, really?
employees during this time.
Run this to around 11:15.
I told them to shut Parliament down ages ago, but they don't listen to me. They never listen to me, and as they don't listen, well, let's hope they all fucking die. Let's hope all the MPs fucking get coronavirus and die. I mean, enough of them are old enough.
Enormously to help people who are in work. One, the taper could be lowered dramatically at this stage, which would push the floor right up underneath people in work at the moment, allowing them to fall back on that if governments can't deal with them. Second, you could change the benefit rates, allowing the greater expanse of money to flow to them. This could be done today. The third area really where he could do is to look at the waiting time and reduce that almost immediately. Those three things were always built into the flexibility. They can be done today, they can be delivered within days by a department that already has the ability to do that whilst he gets on with this other facility.
Well, I'm grateful to my right honourable friend who has unrivaled experience in this area. He makes some very reasonable points, and we are looking very carefully at all the options. And as I said earlier, when we have decided very imminently, the Chancellor will make announcements to this House first.
David Linden. Recent days, the Chancellor has already outlined support for business, which we, the SNP pensions have welcomed.
As a nation, we're going to have to suffer. We can't expect. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, and that's just the way it is. Now we're going to go. Some people are going to go down, and they'll have to accept it, and maybe they'll reconsider their career afterwards, or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they can get a job again when the market picks up again. I mean, everyone's just going to have to lose their job, and we'll always have to get new jobs again. I mean, just the way it is. I mean, it's your policy that's causing this.
Thousands of pounds in people's pockets by way of an emergency universal basic income. And will the government extend statutory sick pay to 2 million people who earn less than £118 a week, and will he benchmark it to at least the real living wage? Firms are already starting to make staff redundant, but we need to stem the flow of that immediately and today. The government should introduce a statutory retention scheme to provide firms with financial support to keep staff in employment during this uncertain time. Mr. Speaker, now more than ever, our social security system needs to kick in. So to protect families impacted by hardship and strengthen automatic stabilisers.
Whatever you do, do not vote Gareth Thomas. I recommend not voting anyone, because why should you vote a Conservative government that are just shit as well? Labour are shit. Liberal Democrats are shit. The Green Party would never be able to run a government, and I'm not voting for these motherfuckers. I haven't voted so long. I can't remember. I only ever voted once, I think, when I was about 18, the first time, and I've never voted since. And I just refuse to vote for a politician that's going to talk this much shit in Parliament. I mean,
I thank the honourable gentleman for his questions. He's absolutely right that it's important that the government does whatever it takes in these circumstances. He raises a number of specific points. Obviously, he'll be familiar with the changes we've made in terms of access to statutory sick pay, in terms of the eligibility.
I recommend that we don't vote, and that we bring the government down by not voting. If the votes drop below a certain level, then the government can't be elected anyway, and that's what I recommend we should do. Not vote. Me and Rastafari don't vote, and most Rastafarians don't vote. I mean, we call it politricks. Politics, politricks. And that's what they do, politricks. I mean, that's what the Rastafarians call it. And
which the government is very clear about. He also
see, Gareth Thomas had me on his side before, but now not anymore. No, you don't treat a citizen like that. One of your citizens with broken windows and broken doors has been complaining for years and years and years, and then he gets pissed off, and then you go and nick him. Well, Gareth Thomas, now I just look at MPs and I think they're dibs, they're dweebs, they're pricks. I agree with the general public now that MPs are a waste of space, pricks, and that's why I agree. I agree. They're not doing anything constructive at all. They are purely wasting time.
How the government are going to support freelancers and the self-employed, because they are
universal credits. We said the answer already.
We're going to leave the House of
Universal
Commons there. You
credits.
heard John Glenn. He's the Economic Chief Secretary to the Treasury, answering questions from various opposition politicians.
Why do they keep repeating? The MPs keep repeating the same question again and again and again. You dumb motherfuckers. Universal credits is the answer.
We heard one suggestion from a former Conservative business.
We've got to pull together. Take a money cut. That's it.
Employers have an account with HMRC. That's,
You're not going out anywhere anyway. You're isolated, so you only need money for food. And universal credits pays your rent,
to pay employees'
and
wages.
it gives you a bit of money for food. If you can't survive on it, how does anyone else? I mean, how do we? I mean,
I work with schools.
How do we survive on it?
And internationally on climate change, on education and events. All of that has been
good
put
night,
on hold
Professor
or
Johnny
cancelled,
Banking.
and I have
Hope you have a great night's sleep.
income coming in. It's a huge issue. The British government's saying it will do whatever it takes. Still more measures, we imagine, to be announced by the British Prime Minister at some point. Now, we're going to talk about schools because the government announced yesterday, as you know, that from tomorrow afternoon, UK schools will close their gates, apart from to vulnerable children and the children of key workers. We're still waiting for a definition of who exactly key workers are. And we know, obviously, it's health workers, supermarket delivery drivers, we're told as well. Exams are going to be cancelled. We don't know when schools will reopen or what pupils will do while they're off. So let's talk to Marie Marshall. She's a single mum. She's from Romford. She depends on free school meals for her children. Lorraine Flanagan is head teacher at a primary school. She has no idea how she's going to keep it open. And Katie Hurrell has two boys. She's not sure how she's meant to work from home and look after and teach her children at the same time. Thank you all for talking to us. Marie, I know you've got three children. You're joining us on the phone. Good morning. You've got three children aged 8, 11 and 14, single parent. You don't have family in the area. You've got asthma. You work part-time in retail. You do get some universal credit, but I gather the whole family is self-isolating. How are you going to cope now that the schools are closing for the foreseeable?
Oh, well, I know we're going to cope with this. I actually have a weak immune system as well due to my Crohn's disease. So I'm highly at risk if I do go out and catch it.
What is your first? I mean, there are a number of
negative
areas
squared
that you will be
capital
concerned
letter
about.
A
But what's your
negative squared
first main
capital
concern?
letter A negative squared capital 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 letter A.
So that they can make their own arrangements and then thinking about what happens in the medium to long term. Today, for example, we're sending home everything we can with children.
Negative squared capital letter A 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 negative squared.
Yeah, so I can't listen to the fucking news now. You've done that fucking stupid message. I can't work out how to get myself out of the room so that I can fucking hear the news. I mean, fuck's sake, I'm trying to watch the news, man. What's the fucking point in writing that? I mean, it's just a waste of. It's not constructive, is it? I mean, I can't watch the news now. I mean, what's the fucking point in doing that? I thought you were a man of philosophy and intelligence. I mean, all I can say is you watch Babylon, right? Babylon, Parliament, whatever you want to call them. They're going to fall. And you watch this. During this coronavirus and the climate change, they're going to fall. They're going to fall. I mean, really, the way that we're living now for coronavirus is what we need to do for climate change. That's what we need to do for climate change. I said this to them. They're not advertising it like that. They're not saying this is the way that we need to live for climate change. So they're not listening to me. So they're not listening to me, the dumb motherfuckers. I told them about a way that we can make money while we're in coronavirus. They haven't listened to me. Gareth Thomas hasn't introduced it. The government moved too slow. I mean, they are not like a private company. I mean, maybe the government needs privatisation. I'm not being funny. Maybe the government needs privatisation because at the moment they are not effective. They are not efficient. They don't solve any issues in the community. They don't solve any issues whatsoever. They don't sort out social services. They've never done it. They've never enforced or rebuked NHS for not contributing to the code of practice. They've never rebuked Parliament nurses for that. No, they give them more money because all that they're doing is just trying to win public support all the time. All that they're trying to do is just win public support. That is not a way to run a country, which is why they're going to fall. Because what is the Tories going to do now? They're going to try and get us all to get a load of money because of coronavirus. I mean, people aren't pulling together. You're going to have to go onto universal credits. I mean, that is just the way it is. I mean, just accept it. And that's it, really. I mean,
people are stepping up, and I think that's happening around in schools around the country. It's going to help us in the short term.
I spent
Thank
years
you.
on benefits.
All
I
of
learned
you.
how to mix
Really
records
appreciate
while I was on benefits. I mean,
Thank you, Marie.
there's plenty of things to do while you're on
Lorraine and
benefits. I
Casey,
mean,
let me read some messages from you.
those who aren't religious
Lisa
in
says
this country
clearly
anymore
we're now
anyway.
seeing a
mate.
worrying and disengaged face to some of
Also,
our
I'd like to
communities
have
and
fun
society.
over
Despite numerous
someone
requests
else.
and measures to
But it's
stop
alright.
the selfish and mindless behaviour of hoarders and
Where
panic buyers,
is my
we saw
meal
our
deal?
shelves emptied by 7:10 this morning. It is now time for a national campaign to address these parts of society who have no regard for others, and especially the vulnerable. My wife is showing symptoms and I fall into the vulnerable group. We're unable to get to the shops and there are no online delivery slots. We'll continue to run down what we have and we will not panic, says Peter. We have an overwhelming sense of disgust towards these people who have no regard for others, especially in light of the many community-based initiatives that go above and beyond to help others. And we know that a number of supermarkets have introduced limits on how many items people can buy to try to stop people stockpiling. But it hasn't stopped so many people from turning up really, really early and queuing up to buy food. This was an Asda at Clapham Junction in London, just after 5:30 this morning. Let's have a look at this. Dozens of customers queuing with trolleys. Let's have a listen as well. Clearly a lot more we can do to make sure we're not there at 5:30 in the morning, unless we are vulnerable, unless we are elderly, unless we're shopping for vulnerable people or elderly people. Thank you very much for your company today. Stay with BBC News. It's time for a look at the weather. Here's Carol.
Hello again. The weather today is very similar to the weather that you had yesterday. Not much has changed. We still have a weather front in the south, and that's producing a...
I'm not blowing up Tesco's today. I've never ever threatened to blow up Tesco's whatsoever. I got fitted up yesterday by Gareth Thomas. Gareth Thomas, and it was him. He made that up. He made up that I wanted to blow up Tesco's. Now, where did he get that fucking idea from? He must have, because he apologised after. Once he said, first of all, he said that I never called the police on you. And then I said, Gareth, if you want me to be friends with you again, you got to apologise sincerely. So then he apologised sincerely. So why did he apologise sincerely? If I had not done it, I'd have said, I'm not apologising, I never done it. So he apologised and he said he didn't do it. So he's a liar. And that's what I worked out, and that's why I don't trust him anymore. I didn't threaten to blow up Tesco. I would never do that. I mean, why would I do that? Why would I want to blow up Tesco? I mean, why? And why would I want to do it? Am I really a fundamentalist terrorist? Really? I mean, why would I want to do that? I mean, so Gareth Thomas gets no support from me anymore, and these MPs don't neither, because I know what Boris Johnson's like. And he is not fit to be a prime minister. He is not. I was nicked for terrorism offences. It was only allegations anyway. It was allegations that I wanted to blow up Tesco's, and the allegation. There was no evidence. So what the solicitor said was just no comment and no comment. And they've got no evidence anyway. So because they had no evidence, I just no commented it, and then they just let me go. I mean,
capital letter A negative squared 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 capital letter A.
They shouldn't have even nicked me without the evidence. That's what the sergeant said. Sergeant said, "You haven't even done the investigation. What have you arrested this guy for?" In front of me, he said that. He said, "You haven't even got the evidence. What the fuck are you arresting this man for?" That's basically what he said to them, and that's how he wanted to say it. You morons, what the fuck are you doing? Why did you arrest this guy? But I still had to go in the cell from 12 till about 10 o'clock at night. I mean, that's not really fair. And where's my compensation? I mean, I should get compensation for that.
Capital letter A negative squared 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 capital letter.
The police saw my broken windows and they said they saw them from outside.
A negative squared capital letter A negative squared capital letter A negative squared capital letter A negative.
They must have smelt the weed inside my building. They must have just. The police must all know that I smoke weed now. I don't know. I mean, they must have smelt weed in the building and they didn't search it. So I'm very lucky. I do feel quite lucky at the same time. I mean, if they had searched, I'd have lost a lot of weed. I mean, I would have lost a lot. I mean, if they had searched, and once they just left it here anyway, and that's what they did yesterday as well. They just left the weed here. I mean, blatantly they would have smelt it coming up the stairs. I mean, they're not stupid. They know I smoke weed. I mean, they must have known it was in the room, and they must have thought that it's a bit weird that we're arresting this guy anyway, or something. Or I don't know. I mean, the police can be all right. I mean, they really can. If you treat them with manners. If you treat them with manners and respect, and you don't resist arrest or argue with them or lie to them, if you're just honest to them, then you can get through. Well, I mean, if you're honest and you haven't really done anything, then you're gonna, you know what I mean? I mean, what am I going to do? Lie and say I did it? I'm not going to do that, am I? I might have got fed if I'd done that, but what am I going to eat today? I mean, what the fuck am I going to eat today? Yesterday it was all right. Now I wish I was in a police cell, but I mean, at least in a police cell you get fed a decent meal. I mean, their meals are good. I mean, there's no disputing that. Their meals are better than what I get here. I mean, he wasn't bad. Yesterday, I didn't spend any money on food whatsoever. I mean, that's brilliant. Someone's on Discord.
Is 88 said a no now on you on no now on no now on you on no now 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 on you on and you and you and you and you on you and you.
I might have to turn Discord off if everyone just keeps typing stuff like that. I mean, what's the fucking point in that? It's not really entertainment, is it? I mean, if we can do either express ourselves or come up with entertainment, then that'd be good. But I mean, if it's not entertainment, why are we doing it? I mean, do you like listening to that? I mean, it's up to you, I suppose. But I just think we should just be posting like proper words or sentences or an entertainment or news or something like that.
Is 88 said it's as good as your music, smiling face with open mouth and smiling eyes.
All right. I think I've had enough of yoga for now. I think my legs had enough, but I think I'm going to get my chair in here now.
Is 88 said I love you really? Is 88 said Johnny, would you like Top come to mine for some fruit shoots?
Right, let's just see what the Prime Minister said yesterday.
Only the children of key workers such as NHS staff, police and delivery drivers and pupils considered vulnerable will be allowed to go in.
Right,
The
Johnny,
decision
would
to
you
shut
like
schools was
Top
one that
to come
ministers
to
here at the
mind for
Department
some
for
fruit shoots?
Education had been putting off
I don't know what a
taking
fruit
for as long
shoot is,
as
but as far as I
they
know, it's
could.
something like what my
They
niece
recognise
drinks,
the
and
turmoil that this
I'm
is
not
going
into
to
fruit
create for
shoots. I'm not a
families
little
and
child,
not
and
least
little children
pupils
like them
who
sort of
now
things.
face
But I don't.
uncertain educational
I don't know
future.
what you're going on
But
about,
with the
really.
virus spreading, the government felt it had no choice.
If you're going on about
but
real
to
fruit
act.
shoots,
Is 88 said
Schools and
what's your
universities
opinion
are
on
calling for
black people?
urgent clarity
I
about
don't
how
have an
children
opinion
will
on
be
black people.
assessed. The
I mean,
government says it
most of
will
my
work with
friends are
exam
black
laws to
anyway,
ensure
and
pupils get the
they're Jamaican
qualifications
or
they need.
Somalian.
But the Walton family from
That's
Bristol
that's
are
how
left with
I've got the
questions.
brotherhood in a
Holly
way. I
will now
mean,
sit her GCSEs,
the
and
main
Millie, who's a
bad
teacher,
gangster of
will have to look
Harrow,
after
the
children
really
at
bad
home.
plotter, is a Somalian guy. I
12
mean,
years of my life, everyone told me, this is the pinnacle. This
all
is
I have to
what
say
you're
is
gonna
that
do.
Gareth Thomas got
And
me
it
nicked for
almost
no
feels
reason.
wasted.
But I've got enough
The
mercy. I've got
generation
enough
that
mercy that.
haven't slapped GCSEs
I mean, this
at
is
A
what they don't
levels.
realise.
It's
And
always gonna
when
mean
you're a real
results
king or you're a real emperor, I mean, that's what I am. And if I want to murder Gareth Thomas now, I can, but I'm not going to do that.
My meal deal's gone. Johnny Tesco said
I'm not going to
said-
murder Gareth Thomas, but I mean, I could just tell the guy that Gareth Thomas got me nicked, and he probably knows by now already anyway.
That every child
Um,
gets their GCSE A level.
Gareth Thomas is going to reap what he sows. I mean,
as and when
last
they
night he sowed some dodgy stuff on the internet, and
We'll be bringing out the details.
well, I mean, he's not that great a guy, then, is he? I mean, he doesn't behave the way that I do. He's not a king. He's not an emperor. There's only one person. You only need one person in charge. I told the government this already. You only need the Most High. But the Most High cannot be despotic. If the Most High is despotic, then he's dangerous. If anyone's despotic, they're dangerous. These MPs are all despotic. I don't know if you know what I mean by despotic, but despotic means like tyrant. Tyrant is the same word as despot. And there's being a despot and there's being a tyrant. Now, a tyrant uses cruelty to oppress his people. and a despot is someone who doesn't know how to govern properly. They govern by emotion, and that's what these MPs do. They govern by emotion. You cannot govern by emotion.
But as the
You just
queues at
can't.
supermarkets illustrate,
That is not the right way, and these MPs are all wrong. And I'm going to prove it, and I'm going to bring them down. And that is my main goal now, because I saw the way Gareth Thomas was yesterday. I've seen what he's achieved in 3 years, and I think to myself, now he's blocked me on the email. Well, now what's going to happen next? I mean, unless I private message him,
but BP saying it wants to do more.
maybe Donald Trump's going to fuck up again. And do I just let it happen and watch a load of people die? A load of Muslims? Do I just watch them get annihilated for no reason? Arming the rebels and all this shit?
In our supply chain.
So Gareth Thomas is a fucking fool.
What superpower are you going to use to bring down the government?
Free delivery of food and
I'll bring them down with knowledge one day manifestation. I'm just waiting for my hour. I'm just waiting for my hour, and I'll bring them down. I'll do it because
free fuel to the emergency services
all
and
that happens is that I'll watch the news. I'll see them do something, and then I'll say on my channel that this is the way it should be. And then as soon as they do it my way, I've blown them out the window. If they can't see that my way is the right way, and if it has to be done in public, then it'll be done in public. And if Gareth Thomas wants to, from now on, if Gareth Thomas wants to know the right way, he's going to have to come onto YouTube, or I'll have to give him a private message. But I mean, I can give the private message over YouTube. I can show you how the government are so stupid. They're morons. They're just average people. They are not clever. They're not educated. They're not educated correctly anyway. They might have an education in an institution, but Boris Johnson is deluded motherfucker. Gareth Thomas is deluded as well. These two I know about because I just know that they're both deluded. So how can we have deluded people? That's a despot. If you have a deluded person in power, that is a despot. And I'm not deluded. That's why I will conquer them, because they are a bunch of idiots.
With then some discussion with the exam bodies to moderate and check that those teacher grades are correct. He wouldn't confirm that, but it does seem that that is the direction of travel.
Okay. In terms of children who will be in school, vulnerable children,
the Rastafarians have been going on about this for a long time. They've been waiting for Jar to come along and conquer these dickheads anyway. And that's what I am. I'm Jar Rastafari. I am the real Jar Rastafari. Haile Selassie was called Jar as well. But I am the real Jar. Where I come from, I used to be what was called the Pharaoh of Egypt. I was the Pharaoh. Ancient Egypt. That's why it was ancient Egypt, because I was the not me now in this body, but one of my ancestors a long time ago. The bloodline going back. I was the Pharaoh. Now the ancient Greeks robbed me. Says so in Bob Marley's song. Oh, pirates robbed the. Oh, pirates, yes, they rob I from the merchant ships. Yeah, oh, pirates, yes, they rob I. You see, it's in the songs. I mean, the Jamaicans and all these Africans all know the truth. I mean, they all know so much more than any of these politicians will ever know. And even black politicians are not clever. They're not really black, these politicians that are black. They don't know their history or nothing. They're idiots. They wouldn't be an MP if they knew their real history.
May be vulnerable in order to offer them a place at school. And to go back to the first group of children, those with extra educational needs, the difficulty there is it's not clear whether
Jar Rastafari, they don't know how powerful I am. They got no idea. They judge me on their own ability. And I am not a fucking man like them. I am not a man. I am the Most High. The Most High is not a man. The Most High cannot injure a person. They cannot oppress a people. They want people to get money. I've got a system to do it. All you have to do is buy one record off me for £1, or you get a record, your own record. start selling it for £1.
Workers who
And
exactly comes under
this is
that
how we start making
definition
money.
and who
And
therefore is still eligible
we could
to
earn our
send
own
their
money.
children
We
to
could
school
we could
beyond
generate
tomorrow.
cash
Absolutely, there will be
for
hundreds of
everyone. I
parents,
mean,
Anita, waiting for that announcement.
if
And Gavin Williamson said
you know,
this morning
if
that
you
the
if you
Cabinet
make music and you
would
sell it
be
100
releasing a
times,
definitive list
you
of
made
roles
100
later.
quid.
So the
That's not
children
bad.
of
I
those
mean,
workers
if you
will be
can make
entitled
10
to
tracks a
school
week,
place. He said he estimated
and you
that
can
would be
sell
around
10 tracks a week,
It's 88, said Johnny.
you can make £1,000 a week, and they can make £1,000 a week as well. I mean, it evens out the way we make our money. Instead of one artist earning all the money, you share it among your friends and across the nation. And I think that's a fair way of doing it. I mean, that's what I said to them that we should be doing during coronavirus. And they're saying they want things to do, and this is something to do during coronavirus. But did the government suggest it? Why not? John said it, so we're not going to suggest it.
It's 88, said Ching Flang Chung Wing.
scheme for business, promising there would be additional support for workers, and the government would do whatever it takes. So far, of course, we are still waiting, and clearly many MPs feel this just cannot go on, that there has to be immediate support. Otherwise, firms are going to go bust and people are going to get laid
I can't
off.
get nicked again. I'm not going to write to social services that I'm going to murder someone. The only way that I can get nicked is by saying that I want to murder someone or something. That's what they tried to make out that I said yesterday, wasn't it? So if I say I want to murder someone, that's the only way I'm going to get nicked. And it's just not worth it.
The revenue ought to forego on those taxes, and companies could just hand them back to subsidise wages. Ian Duncan Smith, the architect of Universal Credit, said, "Look, you could reduce the weight."
That's what he said in the thing yesterday. He said that I want to murder someone or something. And he said that I was to blow up Tesco's.
You can't hang around. You have to act.
But it was all
now,
allegations, and the police had hours and hours and hours to provide the evidence, and there never was any evidence. If they could get the evidence, they would have got it, and they never got any evidence. So there was no evidence. So Gareth Thomas is a liar, and Gareth Thomas is a liar, and I've caught him out, and he's a fucking liar. And how can you lie about your constituents? That's against the ministerial code. And really, Gareth Thomas should get a sack. And it's the truth. Gareth Thomas lied. He's a liar. That's against the ministerial code. I mean, he should get sacked, and he should be. There should be a by-election now.
Their communities who are desperately worried about how they are going to pay their way, literally how they're going to be able to afford to, keep going. And so far, they have not had that clarity from the government, and that sense of frustration just bubbled up in the Commons. And I think there is now going to be real pressure on Rishi Sunak to come forward. If he can't do it today, then tomorrow, and certainly by the weekend, with some sort of detail to provide reassurance.
And talking about detail, Norman, when are we going to get the detail about who's on that list of key workers, whose children will still be able to go to school? Also, when are we going to get more detail about how exactly children who had expected to sit their GCSEs and A-levels in England and Wales will be assessed?
Well, I'm told on the former we will get that tomorrow in terms of how they're going to be assessed for exams. In terms of key workers, we get that today. Quite when, I don't know. I was just told later today. I mean, it's shaping up to be quite a long list from all the sort of words that have been said so far by the likes of Gavin Williamson and others. So we know the key workers will include teachers, nurses.
Right, it's repeating now. I've heard all this now. So now we can get back onto the Discord. I'm on Discord now. Can't get a meal deal now. All right. I might have Kung Flu. What martial art do you know again, Johnny? I know Wu Wei Wing Chun. Wu Wei. Wu Wei is what you get with Zen, and what you do, you flow with your opponent. Like what your opponent does, you flow with it. You use what their force that they use against you. That's what Wu Wei is. Wu Wei is where you use their force against you. Can you spell it on here for me, please? All right, I'll spell it. I think that's how you spell it. Wu Wei, Wing Chun. That's what I do. I only ever have to use it when I'm in hospital, to be honest. But when I'm in hospital, no one can rise above me. No one at all. Not even a member of staff. Let's take a look at this shit. You'll never find that on the internet because I made that term up myself. Wing Chun and Wu Wei are two separate things. You can look up Wu Wei and Wing Chun separately. I've been to hospital enough times in the mental health I'm talking about. Mental health, I've been in I have no choice, man. They section me. The police come and get me. Have I got any choice? I don't have any choice. The police come and get me. I mean, I don't go in. I won't go into the physical side, but mental health, I have no choice. I mean, if they want to put me in there, I have no choice. I mean, when you've had your freedom taken away from you enough times that I have, I mean, it changes the way that you are. I mean, that's why I'm a public man. I mean, I don't mind going on camera because I'm so used to being observed in hospital. I mean, it's just You said you was taught that though, well, the Wu Wei I taught myself. It was a guy that got me into it. There was a friend that got me into it. But the Wing Chun, I was trained by my uncle to learn the moves. And I don't train the moves to anyone at all because I don't believe they're mentally prepared or ready for the moves. And that's why I don't train anyone. I will never train anyone in Wing Chun. And if I practice my Wing Chun moves, I never do it in public. I did some in the cell yesterday to show the police what I can do, but I think you should do a move. No, I'm not going to, because if I show you my moves, then you'll see what I'm doing. And I can't really do Wing Chun, really, unless I got an opponent anyway. If I had an opponent, you'd see it. And some of my friends have seen it, and it's hilarious because there's always a guy that wants to start on you, and he keeps starting on you and starting on you. He'll only do it for about 20 minutes, but every time I'll just beat the shit out of him. And not beat the shit, I don't beat him up, but I just subject him.
Your uncle, yeah, alone.
Just you and your uncle, yeah, alone. I don't know, but I can't really do Wing Chun in here, in this room, on this camera anyway. I could never do a Wing Chun. I mean, if I get a different broadcast system, maybe I could do a Wing Chun on here, but I mean, I don't even want to tell you how to defend, because if I tell you and you get angry, you're gonna damage someone, and you can really injure someone with martial arts if you haven't got the right mindset. And that's why you should never train anyone that is not conscious. And I don't know anyone who's conscious enough yet. I mean, I did try and teach Rastafari once, but he wouldn't listen to me. So he reckons you got to move fast, and it doesn't matter. I was saying that you should move really slow, and he's going, nah, you need to move fast. But what he doesn't realize is that by moving really slow, you can move fast. I mean, he doesn't realize this, that what I was trying to teach him was real Tai Chi. But he didn't listen to me, so he doesn't know it. So it's like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee didn't know real Tai Chi. He didn't know it. That's probably why he died young. I mean, he didn't know real Tai Chi. I can tell by the way that he fights. He does it with speed. It's not by Tai Chi. And my hand can move effortlessly at any speed, anywhere I want it. Anywhere I want my hand, I can get there in half a second. I can get from my head to my toes in no time. And that's the speed that I'm talking about. I mean, how can you train someone who's not conscious? Well, they have to become conscious, and they have to follow Pathfinder, basically. You follow Pathfinder. If you follow Pathfinder, you'll learn Wu Wei. I mean, that's the product of a Pathfinder, Wu Wei. And once you learn Wu Wei, well, you don't really even need to know any martial art physical form anyway. The Wu Wei itself will defend you. I mean, it just will. I mean, you've got to trust me on that. I know that for a fact. If someone goes for you, you'll see it before you'll get it. Wu Wei is enough, and you'll learn that with Pathfinder. And if you eat the orange, if you can prove to me that you get to level 7 or level 8 of eating the orange, then I would train you in Wing Chun. But there's not really any need anyway. I mean, no one really goes around attacking people. I mean, even the evil plotting gang, I mean, they leave residents alone. They don't interfere
with it's they just fight with each other. I mean, that's mainly what they do. And I'm not doing a move on here. I'm not doing. The only move that I will do is from my head to here, to show you how fast I can move. That's all that I'll do, and I can move probably quicker than that. If I mean, the way that that's all I'll do. I'll just prove how fast I can move. I mean, it's up to you if you want to learn how to move fast or not. If you want to learn how to move fast, then get a copy of Pathfinder, and Pathfinder has got every explanation in there. Well, I don't know if it's written well. I mean, people do like reading it, and they have read it, but I don't know if they're following it. But you have to. It's a long program. It takes 15 years to master it. I mean, it's not something you can do overnight. You can't just read it once and that's enough. I mean, you got to really get into it. You got to get to know it and understand and follow it. And see Bruce Lee. Look, watch this. Look, see the way he moves. Look, watch. See, even my dickhead is quite fast. You see, I mean, see how fast it is. It's a lot fast. The camera can't keep up. You see, my dickhead is faster than Bruce Lee. I mean, look at Bruce Lee's move, and look at how much faster I am than Bruce Lee. And why is Bruce Lee in the wrong move? Bruce Lee is not even in. Is he in the right move? I don't know, because the camera might be back to front. I don't know. I think he is in the right move. Yeah, he is. Yeah. But he's not in that's not how I do it. I mean, Bruce, I learned my own style actually, and in my style, I don't stand like Bruce Lee at all. In my style, I'm invincible, absolutely invincible. Mike Tyson wouldn't last a chance. I mean, I'd get into Mike Tyson in no time. I'm sure of that. It doesn't matter how big they are. It takes 8 people to restrain me. It just takes 8 people, and that's another reason why I'm the emperor, because it takes 8 people to restrain me. The next lowest down is Karen Shannon at 6, and that's a woman. So I mean, it's me and Karen Shannon that run this borough. Karen Shannon is a great queen. She's in Stanmore. She's a lover. She's a community girl. I hope she's doing very well. I haven't spoken to her for a while, but I hope she gets onto YouTube one day. She's a bit behind with technology, I think. It'd be good to get Karen Shannon on Discord. It would be good. I see what you're saying. Oh, now it's starting to make sense, because meditation and stillness, when you meditate on the wall and your hand, when you take an image of it, you can. I mean, when you take an image, I mean, I'm at full speed. I am at absolute full speed now. I can't get any faster than what I am. I mean, I just could never get any faster. I can't get any faster than what I am. I mean, after meditate on my right hand for 10 minutes, then See, the Rastafarians have been waiting for years for me to come along. I'm at my peak now. And what I did in 2015 was a major achievement. The truth be, I'm not going to tell you the truth, actually. I'm not going to tell you about that bit. But, I mean, I knew that people weren't ready for that anyway, and that's why I chose against that idea. But, I mean, really, I don't need to be living like this at all. I mean, right now, I could be living in a palace. I really could be living in a palace. I mean, I could have been guarded by police and all this nonsense. And when I say a palace, I mean a real palace. I mean, maybe the Queen would have had to have moved out. I mean, I would have had a real fucking palace and a real bit of gold put on my head, a real crown. They wanted to crown me. The Rastafarians wanted to crown me and bring me in glory. But the Rastafarians didn't realise what I realised was that the rebels would have fucking hated me. And that's why I never did it. But I will come in glory anyway. I will come in glory my own fucking way. Because when they said that they wanted to crown me, I thought, how the fuck can I wear a crown? I've never worn one before, and I just felt stupid. And then I thought, where could I sell a crown? And I thought, my mates would only rip me off anyway. And I thought, I wanted to just smoke the crown. I wanted to smoke it as crack. I mean, and I thought, who can I sell a crown to? You know, to get enough money to smoke crack for the rest of my life. And I couldn't think of anyone. I can't sell it back to the Queen. I mean, who am I going to sell it to? So that's why I turned the crown down. I mean, so I didn't have to be living like this. And I told Gareth Thomas, and this is why I find it really disrespectful of him. I told him that I will live this life out as an experiment. I won't get crowned. I'll live this life out as an experiment to see what it's like as a pensioner, to see if I can make money or whatever happens. I mean, just live the life as a normal person. And that's what I chose. I chose to live as a normal person. But I will come in glory now. I will conquer Babylon easily. That's such a bunch of idiots. I can see that this business situation is going on now. I mean, I just know, I can tell that there's going to be a big problem and it's not going to be so smooth. It's just not. Are you black Jesus? Well, Jesus apparently was not a black man anyway. He was yellow, and I'm yellow, and I'm not. I don't like to call myself Jesus. I'm not a Christian, and I'm not coming back as Jesus. I'm coming back as Jah Rastafari Johnny Ringo. That's my full title, Jah Rastafari Johnny Ringo. And Johnny Ringo was made up by the Rastafarians. Jah Rastafari was made up by the Rastafarians. Jah Rastafari Johnny Ringo, and I believe I've got Godhead anyway, and I call myself Jah now because I'm not a despot. I'm not a tyrant. I'm not gonna, because someone does something hateful or because someone does something wrong or something, I'm gonna criticize or condemn them. I'm just not gonna do that. I mean, why should I do that? I mean, Gareth Thomas is saying Discord's a waste of time and taking a piss out of you, Johnny. I didn't even see it that way. I just saw it as I was just in the playground, and in the playground, people behave exactly like what that guy was doing. And he was a youngster, and I want to get to know, build bridges. And what's Gareth Thomas doing? Blocking emails and stuff. Well, really, that is really stupid. That is one of your constituents there that has helped you in a big way. And if you can't see that, you're a dumb motherfucker. And I've got no time for you, Gareth. You'll never get your seat again. I'll make sure of that. I'm going to make sure of that from now on. Gareth Thomas might arse lick me, and he can arse lick me as much as he wants, but I'm going to say, no, sorry, Gareth, I'm not supporting you anymore. I'm not supporting someone that is a liar, and I'm sure you're a liar.
You should be sacked from Parliament for lying. I mean, Jesus is really, I mean, they say that Jesus was the King of Kings, and if Jesus really was the King of Kings, then that's who I am, yeah. The same bloodline, if you believe in all that. If you believe Jesus did exist, but if you believe Jesus ascended into the sky and all that, it's a load of old rubbish. But if you believe Jesus existed and he was just an ordinary man and he did have children, and then, well, I do consider myself to be a black man in a way. That's why the African guy, the Nigerian guy, called me a coconut, because that's what I am. I'm black on the inside and white on the outside. And my voice, even if you listen to it, it's just like a black man's. It goes up and down in pitch. It's a very interesting voice to listen to. I mean, that's just what I think, and I think I'm right. And my voice goes up, down, up, down, up, down. That's why I can talk on music. And when I talk on music, it's quite interesting because I have got a pitch going on. There is a melody. There's a melody in my voice. I mean, it's always going up and down. And some people, when they talk, it's monotonal. And I'm not monotonal. I have a black man's voice. And that is what a black man's voice is like. It goes up and down. And I haven't really been doing the shows, and yesterday we were on for about 24 hours, and maybe I'll just leave it on all day and all night. I'll see who's viewing at the time that it's time to change over, but I think it might be wise just to leave it on all the time. I mean, no one's going to watch it back anyway. Who's going to watch back 24 hours worth of footage? I mean, no one's ever going to watch it back, and that's not the idea. We want more subscribers and more watchers more viewers on the news streams, and as they go past. And, You see, this is what I'm on about, right? People will diss you, and then when you start doing something that they think is popular, they start ringing you every 5 fucking minutes. It's ridiculous. This guy's crazy. I mean, he was dissing me to fuck a while ago. Sometimes he's my friend and he's all right, but he was dissing me to bits and calling me this and calling me that, and now he can't stop ringing me. What the fuck is that about? I mean, I told him get on Discord, and that's where I talk now. And I tell him again, get on Discord. Let's tell him get on Discord if you want to talk to me. Mental health hospital life has changed so much, right? When I first went into a mental health hospital, it was like hell, and I thought I was actually in hell at one stage. I was a bit confused, but at times the mental health hospital did seem like hell, and it always seemed really bad. I mean, there was always some weird behaviour going on by people, and it was just like hell. I mean, but these days it's not like that anymore. I mean, why is that? I wonder why the mental health system has changed so fucking much. Well, they keep putting me in there. Why do they keep putting me in there? To do their fucking work for them. But when I come out again, I don't think they can maintain it. But when I'm in there, it is peaceful. Very peaceful indeed. I mean, you do get a few nutters starting on me. When I'm in a mental health hospital, there will always be a man that will want to challenge me because I'm the boss when I'm in there. They see me bossing the staff around, sometimes think I'm staff. Because the staff don't wear a uniform, so they don't know that I've got a bedroom. They might think I'm staff, and they start a fight on me. If they start a fight on me, that's a big mistake. But it's not really a big mistake. I don't harm them, but they can't get me. You know, it's ridiculous. Even one guy came from the side once, and this is what I'm talking about. Wu Wei. I mean, a guy came from the side, and I just managed to get him straight. I just got him straight away. I mean, you know, you only need to do one move sometimes, and you've done it. I mean, that's all I had to do was just go like that. That was it. That was all I did. And because he was so slow, I could see his move, and I'm quicker than him. That's what being quicker is all about. It's about seeing your opponent's move and responding before they can even contact. And that's what being fast is all about. And this guy didn't stand a chance. I mean, and he was on foot and I was sitting down, but sitting down, I still managed to get him and just go like that. Then the nurses were on top of him. I mean, I think the hospital know now that I don't provoke people, and they do just start on me. And it does happen sometimes on the street. There is one Syrian guy that does start on me all the time. Do I grass him up to the police? No, I don't. I don't grass him up to the police. I don't use the police to do my business. I don't use police like a domestic, stupid, bored housewife using the police against her husband. That's sick. You're a sick individual. You shouldn't have got married, or you're not a wholesome person yourself. Fuck you, man. I'm fed up with police doing stupid jobs like this. What a waste of fucking time, then. They're just wasting fucking time, the police. When I take the police over, it'll be completely different. I think that's what I've got to do. I've got to take the police over. I'm not bothered about the army, really. I'll leave that to the Queen, but I'm the home king, innit? I'm home affairs. I mean, I can advise, well, I do advise military anyway, but I don't need the military to control where I live. And the government, well, they're not going to have the police. I mean, one day it'll be a police state with me. I mean, I'm sure that the police will be happy to work for someone who's got a bit of brains. And maybe I should leave the government to run, I don't know, but there's a lot of paperwork involved, I suppose. But the government will be working for me, and if they're not going to work for me, then, well, they're not going to exist. I'm going to wipe them out. I will wipe them out with their ignorance. They are so ignorant, all of them. They're ignorant. I see them on Twitter. They behave like children. They're not adults. They're not sensible. That Terry Christian, what's wrong with him? I mean, well, did you earn enough money or something, bro? You don't earn enough money. What's wrong with you? I don't know why you're a champagne snowflake fucking lefty, but a champagne snowflake lefty, fucking hell. Terry Christian. What's this? F90 EKS. I don't know if you're still there. Sorry, I didn't see that. You okay? Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I haven't taken my morning medication, I don't think. That's what it is. All right, let me go and take my morning medication. So I think Gareth Thomas is a big liar because he didn't want to admit to me that he grasped me up. Well, why you block me on my on the email then? And is that really a clever thing to do? I mean, you might not understand what I'm going on about, Gareth, but well, now I can't write to Boris Johnson. I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, there's no point tweeting. No one follows me on Twitter anyway. Well, I've got my own YouTube channel. I mean, I can just say what I want about you. I mean, I've got my own channel. I mean, fucking hell. I know that MPs are all deluded. You're all deluded, especially the ones in glasses. And the way that you stand, you've got no posture. You can't work. You'd never be able to stack a shelf. You lot. Look at the way you stand. Most of you are unfit. You haven't even got presence about the way you stand. I mean, I was watching it today. Let's put it on now and see what the fuck it is, man. Let's put it on the Parliament channel, maybe. Oh, hang on, let's just watch this.
From the beginning, had science to cover both of those aims. And our original strategy, the contain, delay, research and mitigate strategy, was essentially to cover off both those choices from a science point of view. It is our judgment, and it is my judgment, certainly, if you look around the world, the idea that we're going to put this virus back to going away completely, whilst not theoretically impossible, seems so improbable that basing scientific evidence on theory that is something we are trying to do seems to me a mistake. And the reason I say that is if what you're trying to do is get rid of an epidemic completely, the most important thing you do in public health terms is you try and find all the cases, isolate all the cases, lock it down, or play for time until you've got a vaccine just comes around the corner. There are a variety of other things you can do, but there's one set of strategies you follow which are based on the principle actually we want this epidemic.
And I'm never having the vaccine.
So, for
Fuck
example, the
off
stuff
about your
that we've
vaccine,
done recently,
man.
We the World,
Vaccine.
in DRC and
Fucking NHS
in West
bollocks.
Africa on Ebola,
Science in
predicating
fucking.
the idea, our aim is to get
Fuck
this
off, man. Just let them die,
epidemic
man.
to go away.
They're old anyway.
You do
Fuck
completely
it.
different things if what you're saying is actually, however much we might like that to happen, and however much we would like there to be a vaccine riding to the rescue in 6 months' time, currently we think that's improbable. So now we've got to work on a different theoretical framework for actually managing this epidemic. And that is important because some of the critique that of the science, which is entirely different.
Gareth Thomas is a liar. He's blocked me on the email. Why did he block me on the email? You blocked me on the email, so now you're losing knowledge. I mean, if you don't think that's knowledge, what I'm sending you, then
is actually a helpful thing.
What are you doing, Gareth? And why are you coming on my channel then? I mean, is that not right about you? I mean, no, there's something wrong about you.
When you read what you hear, but it is useful to have those. But the critiques for it.
All right, let's just have a look at Parliament. I might not listen to it. I might just watch them, just see their postures. And I mean, look at this guy on Parliament now. What? He's really a fit individual, is he? Pillar of society. I don't believe he is. He's four-eyed. You're a four-eyed, blind, fucking fool asking a stupid fucking question. Most of you MPs ask dumb questions. A mind that asks questions is ignorant. Why are you an ignorant fucking and you're an MP? A mind that asks questions and cannot come up with a solution is deluded. Fact. It says so in Pathfinder and it's true. So why has this poor old woman got to answer all these fucking questions? This is Pretty Patel. Let's have a listen.
I opened my statement by saying that I've been personally deeply moved by reading the report. I would suggest that he too gives the report some consideration and looks at the many recommendations that have been made. And in particular, I've also referenced the fact that we still have work to do in terms of reaching members of the community. I have today in my statement called for other individuals who feel that they have been affected to come forward so that we can absolutely secure their status, but also provide the compensation that they may be due. But there is something more fundamental than this, Mr. Speaker. No amount of compensation or process right now can resolve the issue that has happened and the injustices that have happened. And my focus right now is fundamentally, yes, to ensure that these recommendations are reviewed and undertaken. But
We have to pull it together as a country and just go on to universal credit. I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, your rent gets paid. What's wrong with that?
Speaker, I commend my right honourable friend for the statement and for the apology she's given. The reality is that the Windrush generation, when they arrived here, were met with racism and outright hostility. And yet to be treated so badly after so many years of service to this country is an absolute disgrace and a stain on our society. Will she say a little more about what she can do to reach out to people who've been either deported or are outside this country and wish to return, and obviously are not covered at the moment by what the Home Office is doing, so those people can also receive justice in the right way?
I thank my honourable friend for his question, and he is absolutely right in the reflective remarks that he made about the citizens who came to our country legally to rebuild our nation effectively and join our public services. Of course, that was a generation for many decades that experienced a great deal of hostility and overt racism in our country. And as much as our country has moved forward and progressed and changed, as I've already said, there is much that we need to do, and we must all look at ourselves. He is right to highlight as well others from other nationalities, Commonwealth countries in particular. In fact, the Shadow Home Secretary also referred to Commonwealth citizens too, who themselves were caught up very much. I know this report speaks very much about the Windrush generation, people who are originated from Caribbean communities, but there are many other as well from Commonwealth countries too. And as part of our work that I've touched on in the from the Home Office, the measures that we're undertaking, we will endeavour, of course, to reach out for our engagement programs to those other individuals of different from Commonwealth countries too.
David Lamed.
Mr. Speaker, Wendy Williams' Windrush Lessons Learned Review is a brutal indictment of the Home Office, which shows that it is wholly unfit for the society it's supposed to serve. The review states that the Home Office displayed institutional ignorance and thoughtlessness on race issues, which is consistent with some elements of the definition of institutional racism. The review accuses the Home Office of having a defensive culture which makes it deaf to those raising genuine concerns. Will the Home Secretary accept today in this House, as was said previously?
See, these MPs are ignorant. They don't know about what's going on with Jar Rastafari. They don't. I mean, Jeremy Corbyn might have worked it out, actually. I don't know if that is the real Jeremy Corbyn, but he does call me Jar Rastafari of Harrow, and he might be one of the insiders. He might actually be an insider. That's incredible.
Will the Home Secretary
Maybe he is. I mean, he likes my music, and he says that.
Single recommendation.
I don't know if that is the real Jeremy Corbyn, but
will she review?
Maybe he knows about Jar Rastafari and knows about the Rastafarian movement. And he's the guy that they say that is a sympathiser with terrorists. Well, I'm a bit in agreement with Jeremy Corbyn. I think he might word things slightly wrong and they quote him on it and stuff, but I think his attitude, what he really means and his intention is all right, you know? I think I don't know what his views are on Palestine, but whatever they are, he knows more than I do, and I would go with that. And maybe I'm thinking now that Jeremy Corbyn wouldn't be bad, but I don't think he can change the world anyway. But he obviously knows more than I do about Palestine anyway.
I would urge the honourable gentleman to work with us all collectively to right these wrongs. I've been very clear in my statement today, not just in terms of giving an apology, an unequivocal apology, but also highlighting, as Wendy Williams has in an incredibly moving and thoughtful way, many of the issues that have led to the 30 recommendations that she has made in this review. I will come back to the House and give all the recommendations the full consideration. The honourable gentleman has heard me say, I've made this commitment to Wendy Williams myself, that I will work with her on reviewing the recommendations. That is the right thing to do. That is the right way in which we can prevent something like this from ever happening again. But he also asked me about the culture within the Home Office. I have been clear that I'm going to review all aspects of the Home Office. I will continue to look at the leadership, the changes that we need to bring in terms of culture and policies. I've been very clear about that in my statement, and I will absolutely come back to the House with the recommendations once I work with Wendy Williams and share the details in terms of how we will proceed as a department in terms of picking up the recommendations from this lessons learned review.
Speaker, my right honourable friend has disclosed that the first time she received the report was yesterday, and she published it at the earliest opportunity today. Could she also disclose when officials in the Home Office first had sight of this report?
My honourable friend is absolutely right. I received the report yesterday, and such is its importance, I have published it today. Last July, last year, Wendy Williams began the process, representation of the maximalisation process, where effectively those officials that have been involved and engaged in this process had not sight of the actual report, because obviously it's taken time for that to come together. But effectively, there has been ongoing work and dialogue with key officials, former ministers, and many other interviewees that Wendy has worked with for the publication of this review, and that has taken place over a long period of time.
This report is deeply disturbing, but it also tells us many of the things that we've been raising concerns about since the the Windrush crisis emerged. And the result is that British citizens have been deported, been denied NHS treatment, been cost their jobs, made homeless by the actions of the British government that acts in all of our names. So all of us should be deeply ashamed of what has happened to the Windrush generation, and all of us should be determined that this should never happen again. The conclusions on racism are particularly damning. But the Home Secretary
There is no justice for the merciless.
consecutive Home Affairs Select Committee reports and previous committees as well have often raised many of the concerns embedded in this report about the hostile
We've been through all this
environment,
before. You're just wasting time in Parliament. I mean, basically, they should have got their passports or their citizenship at the time when they should have got it. It was publicised, and you're just going over old territory. You're wasting time. You're the most stupid fucking idiots I've ever known. Why are you wasting your time? No wonder no one's in that fucking chamber. You're wasting time. You want to hear this bollocks? Because they, in 1980 or whenever it was, did not get their citizenship. That's their own fault. They should have got the papers, and my family got their papers. I mean,
will she therefore urgently agree to accept all of the recommendations about scrutiny and openness in the Home Office so that she can prove to the Parliament that she is in fact going to make the fundamental changes that are needed?
Honourable lady, and she is right in the identification.
you can't go back in time and change the law. What the fuck are you going on about?
As well. Over several decades, successive governments, policies and the culture and the environment in the Home Office. I am clear I am going to review all the recommendations, and I will work with Wendy. There may be recommendations that I can proceed with sooner rather than later, and I'm committed to doing that. I'm absolutely committed to doing that, because there are structural and cultural issues at heart here, and they are so self-evident through the publication of this report. No one can sit back or just digest this report lightly, or close their eyes or ears to many of the challenges and, in fact, some of the deeply moving points that have been made here. I will come to the House, but I will work absolutely vigorously.
I don't think Pretty Patel is a bully at all. I think she just is assertive.
Which ones we can proceed.
And that's what I am. I'm assertive, and some people don't like it. When I'm around the police, I have to act subjective, but I mean, most of the time, I'm assertive. When you see me with Black Lightning and Rasmus, I'm assertive. And I think Pretty Patel is just assertive. And they're saying she's a bully. No, she's not a bully. She's just saying the truth. And I think she's all right, actually. I quite enjoyed watching her there.
Anything but British. And we looked in their eyes, and the eyes that looked back were British. To the
This
bone.
guy can see it. He must be a Tory. Yeah, he's a Tory. Yeah.
honourable friend for his comment, and this
Pretty
review
Patel wears
gives
glasses,
voice
shame,
to
but-
people from the Windrush generation who, of course, not just arrived and came to the UK legally, but they were part of our country. They contributed
Pretty
to
Patel
our
really
country,
shouldn't have any
our economy,
authority.
and our
She wears
public
glasses.
services
I mean,
in an
I'm not having
unprecedented way.
MPs that wear glasses from now on. I mean,
Speaker.
from now on, that law has to come in. And if people don't agree with me, well,
do everything possible to ensure that the Home Office
she's deluded. She's deluded, and that means she's deluded. All her policies are going to be nuts and they're never going to work. This is another deluded one.
amazing work putting together to
All this
community and setting
talking,
up
she's
models
barking,
for
she's
how
not
that
singing.
engagement could work. A
She's
model better than the
barking,
Home
she's got
Office. But I asked
glasses.
the question about the
Ask the
160,000
question.
other Commonwealth citizens in this situation that the Public Accounts
Are you
Committee
repeating again?
rose. And while she's on her feet, could she also tell us what she's doing about people with no recourse to public funds?
I think
who are
Pretty
part
Patel
of that
has got
community
things
she
under
serves,
control.
who are
What the
going to be
fuck are
facing
you asking a
very
question
difficult
for?
circumstances if they're
And what is
unable
your
to work
question
because of
for?
COVID-19.
You deluded nutcase.
Well, the right honourable lady raises a number of points here. First of all, I want to thank everyone that is involved and has been involved in many of the outreach groups and the events that have taken place across the country. I've mentioned the stakeholder group in particular, something that I've set up, and I've spent a lot of time with volunteers and community activists, and their work has been remarkable and should be commended. There is much, much more that we need to do on that basis, and that equally applies to members of other Commonwealth countries. This report is very clear about that. I am very clear about that as well. I've said in my statement that we have not done enough yet to reach out to everyone, and there is a lot of work to do in terms of reaching other individuals and communities. And I repeatedly call, and in fact I have asked other colleagues and members of this House to work with us and their communities so that we can ensure that we reach the people that need that help and support. That exactly refers to the point as well about recourse to public
So
funds.
Pretty Patel has to repeat
I spoke
herself
about
because
assistance with benefit claims
this woman
and
asked
things
a
of that
dumb
nature.
question.
Again, we need
She's
to
a deluded,
identify those
stupid Labour
individuals, and there is more
backbencher.
that we can do there collectively
Just like
together.
Gareth Thomas,
She has touched on
stupid
the
deluded
current crisis
backbencher.
with COVID-19 and how we will
Pretty Patel is a
continue to do
stupid,
this.
deluded
That is a
fucking
fair
leader.
challenge to us all right now,
And
because we will not be able to hold
it's a deluded
events in
fucking
the way in
answer,
which we
probably.
had previously planned to.
Doesn't really
We
explain
will have
anything.
much more work that takes place now, obviously through media campaigns, but through our caseworker approach, but also now through one-on-one communications, and if I may, through those individuals in her constituency, but other individuals as well that are working at the grassroots. I would like them to get in touch with me in my office, and we will absolutely work with them to create a network locally.
Joy Morrissey.
I was pleased to hear that my right honourable friend announced a fund for organisations to promote the various
Maybe I
Windrush
should contact
schemes.
Pretty
Can
Patel.
she
She's the
confirm the
Home
money
Office.
will
I
be
mean,
directed to grassroots
I'll have to contact Gareth Thomas,
and
maybe.
could she share the
Contact
contact
Pretty
details
Patel.
for
She
the
just said I
various
could contact
schemes
her.
with
Say that I'm
MPs
doing a
so
lot
that
with
we can
Windrush
direct our
generation.
constituents appropriately?
I am.
Of course, my honourable friend is absolutely right. I have announced today that we will be opening a £500,000 fund for grassroots organisations. And this is something that, of course, all members can benefit from in terms of constituents and organisations locally to help with that outreach. I'll be publishing details shortly in terms of how we can work together. I think the House needs to come together and look at how we can make sure that we can reach out to these individuals and communities, and I will make those details available to everyone.
Home Secretary is aware of the very serious dent in trust in her department and in the government that these events have created in the community, and this explains in part why take-up of compensation so far is so low. Can I say to her that one area which is an absolute running sore is this issue of deportations, particularly of people who have spent virtually their whole lives in this country, been brought up, educated, and had their values and ethical views inculcated in them in this country, serve sentences for criminal convictions in this country, and then find that there's a further penalty imposed on them, which causes huge resentment if they are deported. In her review of policies, could she look again at both the policy and the practice of deportations? Because until that is addressed, I fear the community will continue to feel a very deep suspicion of her department's motives.
Speaker, the Honourable Lady touches on a fundamental issue here, which is that breach of trust. Now, from my time thus far, and the time that I have spent with individuals from the Windrush generation, the advisory groups and the individuals I have spoken to, It is fundamental, and it is a fact that that breach of trust is something that will take a considerable period of time to repair. And with that, of course, there are a number of things that we will have to address. And of course, that is our engagement, our approach, but giving assurance, absolute assurance that we are there to serve them and support them in correcting their status, support them in their financial compensation claims. And that is effectively what we are doing. On top of that, I can give an assurance, as I've said already, as part of the review and the recommendations that I will
I
be
don't know if I
considering,
should join the
I'll be
Illuminati
reviewing the
now.
way
I
in
had
which
my
the Home Office
chance,
itself
but
operates. Yes,
I
in
didn't know
terms
if
of
the guy was
leadership and
genuine or not.
culture,
But after
but
I said
also
no
when
to
it
him, I
comes
knew
to
that he was
many of the
genuine because
policies as well, and I've
I
touched
just
on
knew
cultural
because he said
change, but also
something
compliant
happened, and I just
environment.
knew, and
Speaker,
I had my
has the
chance of
Home
getting money in
Secretary
a house.
ever
And
experienced institutional racism at the Home Office?
Mr. Speaker, racism is not an issue that we should take lightly at all. And as I've said in my statement earlier on, and other members of the House can reflect upon this, there are many people of my own background who leave the House every single morning knowing that they could be treated differently because of who they are or where their parents came from. And I think, Mr. Speaker, as far as I'm concerned, we have to do much more as a society and in terms of how we treat people, but also understand the causes and deal with issues of racism at every single level.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I welcome the Home Secretary's statement today and the report. This was quite clearly the most dreadful scandal, and as she has rightly said, it was a breach of trust. Will she now reassure the House that she will do everything in her power to try to mend this breach of trust, and that she will treat the Windrush generation with the respect that they deserve?
I thank the Honourable Gentleman for his question and, well, the tone of his question and also the points that he makes. Everyone, and I would urge all Honourable and Right Honourable colleagues to look at the review. It is deeply moving and it is deeply powerful in many, many ways. This gives a voice to people who felt that their voice was taken away from them. My focus is absolutely to do right in terms of the wrongs that were undertaken, and to do more than just apologise to the individuals and the communities that were affected by this, but absolutely to review the recommendations and to start and to ensure that my department, the Home Office, puts people before process.
It's very clear my right honourable friend is appalled by what she has read in the report and the compassion that she has spoken with today. And I believe fully that she will make sure that the Home Office does change. And if there's one person who can do it, I believe it is my right honourable friend. But looking at the compensation that is being offered, can she give me assurances, please, that there will be no cap on the compensation that will be awarded under the Windrush scheme?
Honourable friend is absolutely right to point to the scheme itself. I have spoken about the scheme and the way in which it works. There is no cap at all. I'm encouraging, and I again put a plea to all colleagues in the House here, to work with us if they have claimants in their constituency, to bring their cases forward. And I do want to thank colleagues who have done that in terms of not just recognising the individuals, but working with the Home Office as well, to make sure that we can absolutely ensure that those who are eligible, make sure that they receive the full compensation.
Wendy Chamberlain.
Mr. Speaker, this report and the Windrush scandal itself demonstrates how under the hostile environment, people who have every right to live in the UK are far too often wrongly denied access to housing and other services, including the NHS. And now, more than ever, ensuring access to healthcare for those who need it is crucial. So in particular, it's vital that no one who needs to be either tested in relation to COVID-19 or indeed seek treatment is put off by uncertainty over their immigration status or fears that they will find themselves detained or reported as a result. So will the Home Secretary therefore guarantee that there will be absolutely no sharing of personal information from the NHS to the Home Office for immigration purposes?
Mr. Speaker, I've already made it quite clear that the lessons learned must be learned at every single level from this particular review. She's raised a very important point about COVID-19, access to public services and public health. That is not an issue, as far as I'm concerned, that we will need to deal with, because when it comes to the Windrush generation and the individuals that we have been speaking about and involved in this particular review, they will be able to access the public services and the public funds in the way in which I've spoken about today.
Chair Morris. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Windrush generation were British. They should not have been caught up in our immigration system, but they were. And the Home Secretary's apology and use of the past tense remain unconvincing, whilst the hostile environment which they experienced is still in place. The All-Party Parliamentary Group for Africa, which I chair, reported on the disgraceful treatment of African visa applicants. And as a constituency MP, every day I see delay, neglect, discrimination and stereotyping in Home Office processes. So will the Secretary of State say today that our immigration system must not only be fair and fast, it must also be welcoming? And that is the standard to which she will hold herself.
First of all, Mr. Speaker, Wendy Williams describes in this review a set of measures that evolved under a number of governments over many decades. And clearly, we all need to move on and look at let me finish, and I will look at the review and recommendations if she patiently waits me to finish my sentence. I have been very clear in terms of the work that I will be undertaking within the Home Office now, in terms of reviewing policies, but also policies that relate to the compliant environment and cultural change. I have been consistent in my time as Home Secretary about having, yes, a firm but fair immigration policy to make sure that we are welcoming to people that can come to the United Kingdom and contribute to the United Kingdom. And I think that is exactly the signal that our country should be sending to everyone across the world.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is the Home Secretary now beginning to understand how fundamental and profound is the breach of trust in the Home Office that stems from the Windrush scandal? In my constituency, there are Windrush citizens who are fearful of coming forward to claim compensation because of that breach of trust, and many more who live in daily fear of the possibility that their lives might also be ruined by the Home Office. Specifically, they live in fear of ending up on a charter flight. As recently as last month, the Home Office was having to remove passengers from a charter flight because it had not followed due process. Will she commit to pause charter flights and suspend them until the Lessons Learned review has been implemented in full? Will she also join me in paying tribute to the Black Cultural Archives on Windrush Square in my constituency, who have played an exceptional role in stepping forward to provide support for Windrush citizens when grassroots funding was being called for but was not provided by the government? And will she confirm that the BCA will now be funded to do their vital work of helping to enable Windrush citizens to come forward to claim the compensation for which they are eligible?
Mr. Speaker, I've been very clear today in my statement with regards to not just the Lessons Learned review, but the changes that need to come forward. That is not an overnight revelation. I have been working within the Home Office. She would have heard in my statement as well, the work that I have undertaken with members of the Windrush generation, with the advisory group, with the compensation group as well, to understand many of the issues, the challenges, the injustices that I have heard and experienced at first hand, as no doubt she has, in terms of how we can address them directly. The Honourable Lady has also heard me speak today, and I can confirm again that we are announcing a grassroots fund, £500,000 grassroots fund to help with, obviously, the support and the dissemination of information that will support members of the Windrush generation and others that may have been caught up in this and some of the policies and the processes of the past too. It is quite clear that going forward there is a great deal more work to do. She asked about deportations. I can give her an assurance that in her reference to the flight that departed several weeks ago, there was no one from the Windrush generation on that flight. And not only that, that deportation took place under the UK Borders Act 2007, introduced by this House of Commons under a previous Labour government.
Speaker, the Home Secretary has already acknowledged that the Home Office has not investigated the impact on those from Commonwealth countries outside the Caribbean and excluded from consideration those with a criminal record who were wrongly deported. Can she confirm that the research will now be extended, as I think Wendy Williams recommends? And will she ensure that sufficient resources resources are made available so that the work is actually carried out as soon as possible.
Speaker, I'll say to the Honourable Lady that I'll be looking in detail at every recommendation that Wendy Williams has put forward, and I'll be working with her on the delivery of many of them.
Signatures. Mr. Speaker, 6 years ago, over 30,000 overseas students from Commonwealth countries lost their visas when they were accused by the American firm ETS of cheating in its TOEIC English language test. It's since become clear that many of those accusations, in fact almost certainly most of them, were without foundation. In learning the lessons of Windrush, will she ensure that those students who are innocent get an affordable route to clear finally their names?
Yes. Speaker, my honourable friend has raised this point with me previously, and I thank him again for raising it today. I will look into this, absolutely. He's asked me to do so, and that is something that I'll absolutely take away.
We now come to business statement, Leader of the House.
Mr. Speaker, the business for the week commencing the